Welcome to Cross Realm Podcast, the entertainment podcast hosted by CRR Gaming Group members. Today is May 24th, 2018. You can reach the show by emailing at crossrealmrebellion@gmail.com. You can tweet the show at crossrealmpod on Twitter. You can grab the RSS feed, get our show notes, and leave us voice message at anchor.fm/crossrealmpodcast and apply to join us in-game at crossrealmrebellion.com. So let's introduce who we have tonight. I'm Cricket. Hello.
Hello, Cricket.
We got Esmeralda Sky.
Hello, Esmeralda Sky.
We've got Faux Render.
Hello, Faux Render.
We've got Big Blue.
Hashtag blame foe.
Hashtag blame foe.
And we've got Gigabyte.
Yo. Gigabyte. He just said, yow.
So I think our first section is Esmeralda with In the News.
In the news. I think oh, here we go.
Hello CR gamers, Cyber Judge here. Sorry I could not be there for the live recording today. However, due to real life, the recording times don't work out for me most weeks. After a conversation with Esme on Discord, I thought it would be a great time to send a quick message over to you guys. I do have something a bit more serious, not gaming related, to bring up on this quick message. But before I do, since this is a gaming podcast, I'll just let you all know what I've been up to in my gaming time. I ended up picking up No Man's Sky on cdkeys.com for $25 Canadian, and have been playing that quite a bit. From the reviews I heard when the game first came out, I thought the game was going to be a bunch of garbage, but it seems the game is now much more improved, and I'm quite enjoying playing it. I am excited for the upcoming patch that will be coming out. That'll be adding multiplayer components. From the sounds of it, there will be the ability to group with people to build your base and adventure out together, or then be one of those type of people that will go picking fights with other players. So I'm looking forward to that and seeing what that all is like. I've also been continuing with my adventures in Elder Scrolls. Nothing really new to say about that. And lastly, as much as I still think PUBG is the better battle royale game, I've been playing Fortnite and sucking hard at it. I have some coworkers that don't want to pick up PUBG because Fortnite is free, so I've been joining them on Fortnite and been playing that. It's an okay game, but I still prefer PUBG. My coworkers are also trying to convince me to pick up Overwatch since it's free to play weekend this weekend, and the game is on sale for $20 off. So who knows, maybe by next week I may also have Overwatch. So now on to the whole reason for this message. And it's not gaming related, but thought I'd bring it up here on Tuesday, June 12th. I'll be joining around 20 other of my colleagues at work for the giant bike to raise funds for the Heart and Stroke Foundation. So the Heart and Stroke Foundation is a charity I try to support every year, as I have had issues with blood pressure myself in the past, and my grandfather did pass away from a stroke. So every year I try to do one fundraising attempt for the Heart and Stroke Foundation. I have set myself a goal of raising $100 for the Heart and Stroke this year, but would love to surpass that goal. Being that I live in Canada, this fundraising is for the Heart and Stroke Foundation in Canada, and pledges will be charged in Canadian dollars. However, anybody is welcome to pledge support. If you would like to support me on my big bike ride for the Heart and Stroke, please check the CRR Discord channel for the exact link to my support page. And if you're not a CRR member, what are you waiting for? It's easy to sign up, And being a member and using our Discord channel gives you the opportunity to interact a whole lot more with this great group of like-minded gamers from across the United States, Canada, and the globe. So that's all I have. Have a great rest of the show, and I'll see you all in Discord or in the games we play.
Well, I don't know if you guys have seen this come across your social media or wherever. You heard your families brawling it out in the backyard. But did you hear Yanni or Laurel this week? Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I heard Yanni.
I just opened it up, and the damnedest thing happened when I clicked play. For like the first 3 or 4 times I heard Yanni, and then all of a sudden I started hearing Laurel. So I heard the trick is if you like concentrate on one or the other, you'll end up hearing it.
I was trying to hear Laurel, and I just cannot hear Laurel.
I can't either. I hear Yanni, no matter what.
Did you slide over the bar?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I even watched the one where it's like, we're going to manipulate the sound so you can hear the other one, and it didn't work.
Well, I heard Laurel.
Did you? Okay.
And then I didn't hear Yanni until like I slid the bar like all the way over towards the Yanni side, like 1 inch away, and then I heard and then I heard Yanni.
Okay, and I was like, I had to slide it. What we're talking about right now is I'll put the link in the show notes, or if somebody can link it in our Twitch chat. But we are recording our podcast right now live on Twitch. Hey, Good. So if people did not know what we're talking about right now is this past week there was a clip. The internet erupted in disagreement on Tuesday over an audio clip in which the name being said depends on the listener. Some hear Laurel, others hear Yanni. So in this article that we have in our show notes, it is from the New York Times, and they made a tool so that you could gradually accentuate the different frequencies, because it was said that if you hear Laurel, you hear lower frequencies, and if you hear Yanni, you tend to hear higher frequencies. So, did you guys ask any of your family members, like, what they heard? Did you guys all kind of hear the same, or were you divided?
My wife heard Yanni, my son heard Laurel. Although my wife was able to hear Laurel with some of the tools messing around. I was never able to hear Laurel.
All right. It said one way to understand the dynamics at work is to look at a type of a chart called a spectrogram, and a way to visualize how the strength of different sound frequencies varies over time. The spectrograms they have in the article show the different words and how our ears pick them up. So, and using the slider that they made, you can manipulate which frequencies are emphasized. So you can almost pinpoint the difference between your own personal hearing of when it makes that transition. It is kind of neat. Because you would have literally, you think like you could look right at somebody and you could tell them something, and it's like it bounced off their forehead and landed on the ground. And now we know why. It's like, are you listening to the words that are coming out of my mouth?
My dog heard Yanni.
Well, that's not surprising.
She told me.
Your dog and I have something in common.
So one thing, Yanni and Laura related that I saw come across my Facebook feed that was really cool was someone got an ambigram tattoo. I don't know if you know an ambigram, like it was used back in what was that, the movie with Tom Hanks, the Da Vinci Code, where basically it's like a word that's written and you can read it. It reads the same, maybe like backwards and forwards or upside down. And it was a Yanni Laurel tattoo where it upside down, it read Yanni or Laurel, and then in the center of the two was like the sound, the sound wave chart. So it looked really cool. I'll see if I can find it.
That's cool. I'll probably not get that tattoo, but it's pretty cool.
That's interesting. All right, next up in the news, I found an article that said the legend of the Loch Ness Monster will be tested with DNA samples. In case you're wondering.
No, it would be hilarious if the guy who was testing for the samples gets, like, eaten by the Loch Ness Monster.
Oh, goodness.
Or maybe not eaten. Maybe just his boat gets capsized. All right, I went too far. Yeah, this Nessie popped out. Like, what up, bitch?
What up? What up? Move out the way. Move out the way. All right, so this is from the Washington Post, And out of Wellington, New Zealand, the stories have seemed as tall as the lake is deep. For hundreds of years, visitors of Scotland's Loch Ness have described seeing a monster that some believe lurks in the depths. But now, the legend of Nessie may have no place left to hide. A New Zealand scientist is leading an international team to the lake next month, where they will take samples from the murky waters and conduct DNA tests to determine what species live there. So, Mr. Neil Gemmell, who is a professor at the University of Otago, says he's no believer in Nessie, but he wants to take people on an adventure and communicate some science along the way. Besides, he says his kids thinks it's one of the coolest things that he's ever done. So, one of the more far-fetched theories is that Nessie is a long-necked plesiosaur. Now, us as ARC players know, what those plesiosaurs look like. That would be terrifying
They're
to roll
assholes
up on
and
one
they
of
come
those.
in pairs.
They're what?
They're assholes and they come in pairs.
Oh, I thought you said and they have affairs. I'm like, what? You have some adulterous plesiosaurs?
Wow, 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 wow.
I would love for it to be a plesiosaur. Like, that would just
would
make
be
my
fun.
day. That would be so
Right.
awesome.
Crazy. It says another theory is that the monster is actually a sturgeon or giant catfish. Many believe the sightings are hoaxes or can be explained by floating logs or strong winds. I don't know. I've seen floating logs and I've never thought, oh my, there's a Nessie. So,
Far away, it's like a floating log with like a limb
floating
stick.
log.
No, but it's like it has like a limb sticking up out of it. Like that's what they're trying to say.
Yeah, it looks like a head sticking up.
Yeah, but I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
So, you guys remember Unsolved Mysteries from back in the day?
Oh God, that show.
Of course I do. That creepy ass voice used to scare me when I was a kid.
That was the
Damn thing
first
was
time
terrifying.
I ever heard about Nessie, was watching that show, and I've been fascinated with it ever since.
I used to love and hate that show at the same time.
Yes, I used to lay in bed.
Yeah.
My mom would put us to sleep, and I had to be like 7 or 8. And I remember, because you could hear the TV through your bed, through the wall. Your bedroom's on the other side of the living room.
Oh my God! So you just listening to it?
Hell
That's
yes,
even worse.
Yeah, that would be creepy as hell.
I'm telling you. And no, they didn't think anything of this, right? And I remember being terrified. There was this whole episode on haunted bars. And there was this one bar in the South that claimed that it was haunted by the ghost of Abraham Lincoln. And I was freaking out that the ghost of Abraham Lincoln was going to haunt me down in my little bed in my little town. And then I had to rationalize my own little kid brain and go, out of all the people to haunt, why in the hell would he choose you, little girl? Shut up and go to bed,
Exactly. He's Abraham Lincoln, for Christ's
I know,
sake.
what's he gonna be like? There's this terrified little girl listening to a creepy ass TV show through her wall. Let's go. Yeah, I hear you, man.
They need to bring that show back.
Oh, terrifying.
Like that
Yeah.
that show introduced me to ghosts, Sasquatch, Nessie,
I know.
murders. I mean, it was amazing.
And the guy always
Gave me
had such a
nightmares, but it was
straight face.
amazing.
Yeah, and it was always creepy. Oh my God, that's the show that I tripped my mom out because we were talking about like how we freaked people out.
Oh, that's
like,
right.
That's the show when I made her think that her TV was demon possessed because I hid in her closet in her bedroom and she was watching some like Christian choir or something on her show and I was flipping it back and forth. And when they would do that weird face distortion and voice distortion so that people would protect their identities, so that head was on the show Unsolved Mysteries. And it was this weird, like weird gargly voice, and she was just looking around the room. That's the show that helped me freak her out years later. Damn, show was freaky. I think
Scaring people is funny, so it's just fun to do.
It is crazy. Did any of those episodes ever stand out to you guys? Like, what one is burnt in your head? Because the Abraham Lincoln ghost one was, and Blue, you said you had multiples that terrified you or introduced you to stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, I just that show in general is burnt into my memory. I mean, it, like I said, introduced me to the likes of Nessie, Sasquatch, which, I mean, we all know is fake, but we all wish was true, and all sorts of different stuff. I don't know. It was just a great show for back in the day, and gave me nightmares. But I got over it.
I don't know if it was that show or another show, but they had an episode where they were talking about how like Dungeons and Dragons was like worshiping Satan and it was devil
I
worship.
remember that.
That
And
is hilarious.
there was a story where the mother went to her kid's bedroom, and he had his Dungeons and Dragons books under the bed, and she walked in because she heard something, and like his whole bed was shaking, and it lifted up off the ground and was spinning with him on it, and all this crazy stuff. So me and my friend were watching that, and he was sleeping. I had one of those like it was like a mattress on rails, so like it would pop out from like underneath my bed, and it would pop out and then like pop up.
Oh,
and
okay.
I had one to the bathroom that night, and I crawled back into my room so he couldn't see me. And I went under the bed that he was on, and I just started shaking the crap out of it.
Oh, you are fucked. That
and
is
he was
so
like, "Oh my god, we were playing Dungeons and Dragons all day."
Oh my god.
He freaked the hell out. It was just fantastic.
That is hilarious.
Did you tell him the devil made you do it?
Yeah.
So speaking of the D&D Moral Panic, did you ever see the movie Myths and Mazes, or Mazes and Monsters? That's what it was.
No.
It was one of Tom Hanks's early movies, and it was essentially D&D is evil, and you're going to get possessed by it and go crazy.
Oh, 1982. I just looked it up.
Yeah,
I believe I did see that movie. I think I did see it.
Because essentially he goes off to college, and finds, and he was a D&D gamer beforehand, and he went away to college and he found a D&D game, and they'd kind of live action it a little bit, as far as they would, like, there was some caves near their college, and they would go out there and set it up and just play D&D out there. And he kind of like goes out there and he kind of hallucinates and sees like a goblin type thing, and then he starts believing that he is his character and starts going crazy. And it's supposedly it's roughly based on a story of I'm trying to remember what it was. It was one of the, I want to say it was Yale, maybe. Let me look it up real quick.
I put the link on Twitch. Are you talking about the mazes and
Yeah,
the movie? Yeah. I don't know. It just says, bound together by a desire to play Mazes and Monsters, Robbie and his 3 college classmates decide to move the board game into the local legendary cavern. But that's all it says.
There we go. It was based on a novel by Rona Jaffe, and she had based her novel on the inaccurate newspaper stories about the disappearance of James Dallas Egbert III from Michigan State University in 1979.
Egbert. Michigan State. Interesting.
And so, yeah, it was something that he had disappeared, and people had blamed, saying that he was live action role playing D&D, and he went into the tunnels and all this stuff, and there was more outrage from it because D&D was the devil back in that time period, kind of like gaming's the devil nowadays and stuff.
Aw,
but
yeah, I do remember hearing that. And then when I started doing D&D with you guys, I was like, this is what people were talking about? Like, come on. Isn't it weird? So weird.
But it's kind of hilarious how bad and how heavy-handed they are with the thing. But it's just funny that it was, it's Tom Hanks, and like I said, one of his real early roles before he knew any better.
Right. Hey, gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it was before Splash, and
all the movies back then were just wacky.
Yeah.
80s movies are like a real trip, some of them.
Hell yeah, they are. They really are. I couldn't believe my husband had never watched The Labyrinth, and he's heard me talk about it for years. And I was like, what?
I need to watch that again. I haven't seen it in a while.
It just blew my mind that he had never... And I was like, dude, you've acted like you've seen it before. Like, when I would I remember way back in the day, I'm pretty sure that was one of my prerequisite questions when we started dating was, have you seen The Labyrinth? And he probably just freaking lied to me. I just told me yes, because he now says he's never seen it. I'm like, how could you be born around the 80s and never seen that damn movie? Come on. Everybody needs to be scarred by David Bowie's junk and tightly cream leotards. They had no business wobbling around in front of little kids' faces on the screen, but whatever. It was the 80s.
Who's the big doofy monster? He was the best.
Huggle. Hoggle.
Well, I don't think it's talking about Huggle. I think it's talking about
Huggle's the little grumpy old man.
the one that summons all the rocks.
Oh. Like you would just talk like that.
Oh.
Right? Yeah, I like your version better than mine.
There were like 5 movies. It was like Labyrinth, Legend,
Dark Crystal,
Dark Crystal.
And was it like Time Hoppers or Time Jumpers or
Time Bandits?
Time Bandits.
Explorers. For me, I loved Explorers.
Never Ending Story.
Yeah, Never Ending Story, but that's later. Isn't it like in the 90s?
No, Neverending Story was 80s as well.
I feel like it was like early 90s, but maybe it was.
1984.
Maybe that's
Remember,
what
I used
thought.
to rent it out from like the video store. Never Ending
So
Story.
Say my name.
What for the longest time I could never understand what name he freaking said on that thing.
Was it his name or his mom's name?
No, what I hope it wasn't his mom's name because it was Moonchild is the name that he says because basically he's supposed to name the Empress, and so Moonchild is the name that he shouts out.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was his mom's name.
It might have been, yeah. I mean, but yeah, Moonchild.
Hey,
Say my
old man.
name, Sebastian. Say my name.
Oh, right. So, in case you wanted to know, yeah, they're going to be testing the waters in New Zealand for DNA no segue needed, I guess, for the
Loch Ness Monster.
for the Loch Ness Monster.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the next thing in the show notes.
No, that's what
When you're talking about testing the waters.
This is the next one.
Yeah, so there's a guy going out on a boat. He's going to take a bunch of samples, DNA, and he's going to try and prove what species are in this lake.
Exactly. So we shall see. Stay tuned.
We'll
So,
stay tuned.
I
But
guess that's based upon the DNA that he's finding in the poop that's in the
no,
water?
just
Well, I mean,
things
if you
in
read
the
the
water.
article,
They leave DNA in the water. Just not poop. Just
yeah.
Well,
it could be
so,
skin
type of DNA that I
flakes.
guess
It
it's
could be
This is
saliva.
some good segueing
It could be
going on.
semen. It could be
A little
semen.
confusing. So I'll just clue everyone in. This is a code brown, everybody. Code brown. Meep, meep. Pools are nasty. This study says from adventure.howstuffworks.com. So just in time for the summer season when everybody wants to cool themselves off in a nice, beautiful, sparkly, crystal clear pool. Just that it's not so crystalline, clean, and clear. So summer vacations are nearly here, and you know what that means. It's pool season. Time to get a running start. Poo season. Good one. Ba-doom-tsh. We have a little article here that wants to let you know that you just make sure your lips are sealed when you hit the water. That's because according to new data released by the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, pools are full of bacteria. Full of it. The CDC analyzed data from 2000 to 2014 and found that 500 outbreaks resulted in more than 27,000 illnesses and 8 deaths could be traced back to pools and hot tubs.
Do we need more chlorine? Is that what we need? Or do people just have to stop being dirtbags
I feel
and wipe their ass before they get in the pool? Like,
wipe their ass.
come on.
And don't pee in the pool. I mean,
But-
seriously.
So speaking of code brown, Esme, did you ever use the term code brown when your kids pooped in the tub?
No, we normally just looked and saw it and then squinted our eyes and told ourselves secretly please tell me that's not poop. Please tell me that's not poop. It more or less.
Because that was
more or less went into we are having to tell ourselves that it was not what it was.
Yeah, because that was my wife's call whenever
That's
she
cute.
when she was because the kids never pooped in the tub when I was bathing them. But my wife, I think she got hit 2 or 3 different times, and so she'd be up bathing them, and then she just yelled out, "Code brown!" And so I'd know I'd have to get up there, and then it'd always be, "Do you want kid or tub?" I'm like, I would take the kid because I don't like to scoop it out.
Exactly. One of you
Poop
has
out
to
of
remove the kid, the other one has to dive in and disinfect, and yeah. it can
I
be
am very
crazy.
lucky. My boys never pooped in the tub.
Shit, mine pooped in the tub and paint. I don't know. Yeah, you guys are down
I
when did all
also-
that organic artwork on his walls at least once a week. That was a nightmare.
That had to be a nightmare.
Picasso.
Yes, he was a. Oh my god! I need to make a shirt for that and make him wear it when he graduates.
In my school that I work, code brown is the code for a kid pooping his pants.
Yeah.
Aw,
Yeah, I also never got squirted by my son when I was changing his diaper.
lucky.
Yeah, I dodged all those bullets.
I would do this thing when people who don't have kids come over and they're like, "Oh, I'll change their diapers." I'll be like, "All right, you got to dry them off. You got to kind of just gently blow on their penis." And all of a sudden, they were just getting pissed on it. It was fucking hilarious.
You're wrong. You're just wrong. That's so wrong.
But who are your friends? I would have been like, I am not blowing on your son's penis. That's not happening.
You're like, come over here. I'm like, what? How long have we
Over
been
blow my
friends?
son.
I'll be like, you are off your rocker. I am not doing that.
Thank you for. You're crazy. That is so true. But what else is true is that more than half of those outbreaks are caused by Cryptosporidium, a bacteria often transmitted when diarrhea gets into the water, and then you swallow that water while swimming or practicing those underwater somersaults. It's gross, but it happens. And it says the two other most common bacteria were Legionella and Pseudomonas. You would probably guess that Legionella causes Legionnaire's disease, is transmitted via inhaled water droplets from, say, spa jets in a hot tub. And Pseudomonas is responsible for the very common swimmer's ear and hot tub rash. It's transmitted when you simply come into contact with it.
That is disgusting.
I know, right? So gross. And like, it's.
I don't go to a lot of public pools. Like, probably or hardly any.
You go to a hotel, or you go to a water park, or you go to a
yeah, I get you.
Resort. You know,
I get it. It's just I don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
And I do like the hot tub. Like, I love the hot tub.
Mm-hmm.
Love getting in there and just having a good soak. You know what I'm saying? Like, just getting in there and just soaking up in the hot tub. Now I got to worry about like feces gas. I got to worry about breathing in fecal gas.
Exactly. It says the most likely places where the outbreaks occur were hotels. That's awful. Yeah. Yikes. So they accounted for more than a third of all the instances, more than any other type of location. So it's not just the hotel pool that's to blame. Half of the hotel outbreaks were reported as starting in the hot tubs.
Well, now I'm going to have to pay extra to have the hot tub inside the room. I'm going to have to.
Well, what if they don't clean it very regularly? Like, they just
you'll just get like old, dried up.
Oh, not like a hot tub, like the bathtub. That's a hot tub.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. That's
you know
what I'm
talking about. No, they clean those bathtubs with like bleach and shit. Like,
just bring your own bleach, maybe. That's the solution.
I'm about to just start walking around with a bottle of bleach and a black light wherever I go.
Yeah, I don't. What are those? So, yeah, you might want to.
This local casino, it's a Tulalip casino. They have a hotel connected to it. Hey, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But they have a pool and a hot tub. But like, if you're in, you can smell the chlorine. They use a heavy dose of chlorine. And when you're in the hot tub, sometimes it's like, man, they put so much in here. I feel like I'm gonna pass the F out. But so I feel safe.
You feel safe, silly boy.
But that's probably exactly why I will die one of these days.
Probably.
It's like, why is his skin turning slightly blue?
He feels safe. That's why. Too funny.
But I do like when I could smell the chlorine. Like, I feel safer when I do smell it. Like, I know it's annoying, but I'd rather smell like heavy chlorine than it not being chlorined enough. Catch my drift?
I catch it.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm selling?
I do.
I'm buying what you're selling.
Nick hasn't chimed in on any of this. I don't know why. Have you not gone swimming?
Because I own my own pool. Unlike the rest of you.
You don't go.
No, but exactly. I have a pool too.
I have my own pool
too, dude. But don't
yeah,
you
I have
leave
my
your
own
house?
pool, and I'm the one who cleans it, so I know exactly how clean it is.
I just love that line that you died on. You're like, and like, you peasants.
He said you peasants. That's a little shit.
But you never gone to like a vacation? We have our own pool. It's not a big deal.
Pool.
But no, but like a hotel. Or
the
like
only hotel that I've ever done anything in the water in was the Great Wolf Lodge. As like an indoor
definitely
water park.
Got like chlamydia from that.
Yeah, you got the clap.
Slide down the slide, AIDS.
It wasn't your ex. No, it was.
You were sliding through all sorts of just like herpes, like just coming on down the herpes slide.
Fun though.
I call it the herpalurp.
The herpalurp.
That's the name of the slide. The herpalurp.
Well, so yeah, the best way to avoid also the herpalurp is also to keep that crypto to a minimum, is to keep those little kids with diarrhea out of the pool. Speaking of, that's my shitty.
That's why we shouldn't let children do anything. Lock them up till they're 18.
Okay, so hey, there you know. So when you go swimming and you go to some public pools, you might get the clap. No, I don't know. You might die because there's all kinds of bad things. You might contract
a disease.
You're gonna contract a disease.
Just don't go to public pools. Have your own. It's way better.
Yeah, just go to Giga's house.
So we're all gonna go crash Giga's and pee in his pool.
Yeah, we're all gonna go.
My pool isn't clean. It's super dirty.
Tootsie Rolls and Giga's pool. Okay, moving on. I finally have some gaming related stuff. Finally. After we've talked about the Loch Ness Monster, nasty pools, we're going to talk about Giga's favorite game, Fortnite. We're going to talk about that.
I mean, the hottest piece of shit on the market right now?
Did you just in the back of your throat a little bit? I think I felt
fucking Fortnite. I hate it with a passion.
I feel like Fortnite, you guys used to date, and you have nothing nice to say about
It's a
Fortnite.
garbage fucking game.
We had a blast, okay? That's all that matters.
Yeah, you have fun.
Millions of people disagree with you.
Yeah, well, millions of people also ate Tide Pods, but millions of people thought eating Tide Pods was funny.
It was funny.
And don't forget about
natural selection is funny, but...
Okay.
Oh, Tatsu says Fortnite. It's free. In our Twitch chat.
That's literally the only reason it's fucking popular. It's free.
Talk about H1Z1.
Way to leech off PUBG.
Fortnite makes a huge competitive gaming announcement. Epic is going big on professional competitive Fortnite play. The developer announced today that it will provide $100 million in funding for Fortnite prize pools in the 2018-2019 season. In a brief blog post, which will be in the show notes and also in our Twitch chat.
What's competitive about it, though?
Well, let's continue reading. Okay, it says Epic said it wants Fortnite for Fortnite competitive play to be more inclusive and focused on the joy of playing and watching the game. We're getting behind competitive play in a big way, but our approach will be different. Epic said we plan to be more inclusive and focus on the joy of playing and watching. Dude, why did it just say the same damn thing twice?
First of all, obviously the game is like doing really well because he's putting up. You know, they're putting up 100 million smackers to fund their professional play.
They charge you skins, and you can't even buy all the skins you want at once. You gotta wait for them to show up.
It's genius.
Fucking awful.
More details on this.
It's genius. That's costing me like $20 a season.
It's a
great way to leech money off
you not
people.
Get to spend $20 a season on something, but your son does? That's where the real question is.
You don't need it. It's just for skins.
Or some shit to get that money.
You know, those people don't have to buy skins. It does nothing for gameplay. So if people want skins, they get skins. I mean, you don't have to buy it to play the game. You can play the game with your normal skin.
Me going, woo! Look at that unicorn skin.
I've seen a few conspiracy theory-esque videos online of people saying that they think skins give you better loot.
You think so?
I don't think so, but they have enough. They have enough proof.
Because they're watching YouTubers play because they all have skins, and they only show the games when they do good, so they're getting good items.
The video I watched, the dude had an account that had never bought a skin, and he had his account that had a bunch of skins. And he compared like 100 loot boxes from each account.
We got some fire on your side right here, Giga, coming out of Twitch chat. Tatsu, our most BFF Tatsu, said, do they plan to not ban people for swinging on a GD tire set? Look it up. It was flinging people across the map. So epic. Banned people for hopping on it. LOL.
That's fantastic.
The tire swing sets. Yeah. I don't know what they do, but it says more details on the structure of the tournaments and eligible platforms will be announced in the weeks ahead, so keep checking back with GameSpot for more. And it said that it is a really big deal in part because $100 million in prizes is more than double the $38 million in total prize money that Valve's Dota 2 paid out in 2017 across all of its tournaments. So... it says the international prize pool in gaming history last year with almost $25 million for one single event.
Holy crap.
All of this is crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot of...
They bring in $1 million a day.
It's nuts.
From their mobile version alone.
Nuts.
Well, of course, because people who play mobile games are...
Dude, they all just were playing a mobile game before.
They all like crackheads.
No, that's the joke.
You're talking yourself into a corner here.
That's the joke, Esme.
You gotta let him finish before you call him out.
It is no joke. Like, mobile gamers are like crackheads.
So what did you say, Giga? Sorry, before I was picking on you.
I said that was the joke.
Oh.
Was that I was in the middle of playing a mobile game.
He was a snot. He was like, okay, guys. We're like, what, is Giga even here? And he's like, oh, sorry, I was just doing this, and I'm playing this game on my phone.
I was doing math. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, math, conversions for Eve. Sorry, I'm glad you corrected me.
Yeah. It's conversions for your guys' sake, not mine.
Thank you. We appreciate all the hard work you do. And I also want to hear your Eve drama, too, so make sure you don't talk about that while I'm going to the bathroom. Please and thank you. Okay. Tatsu86 on Twitch said, these numbers are just absurd, crazy. And O-Man said, I am not paying for nothing. So, so just keep your eyes out for that. Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah, did you just say, Fo, that it brings in more than $1 million
a day?
A day.
Yep.
On the mobile version. I'll be honest. There's one skin that I want, and that's the only skin that I will buy.
$1 million a day. Wow.
I want the T-Rex skin for my dude. That's the only skin I want.
So isn't it just him wearing a T-Rex hat thing?
It's a T-Rex onesie, first of all.
It was pretty cool.
It's a T-Rex onesie, which I would love to have in real life. Cool. So I want that in the game. It's funny as hell.
That's hilarious. It also said in other Fortnite news, Epic is finally adding jetpacks to the game tomorrow as part of the update. So content 4.2 arrives shortly after the end of Fortnite's latest limited time mode solo showdown. So I think we had a blast when we did it on our free to play and our Crossrealm Rebellion free to play Saturday. We had a lot of fun. Like, oh, yeah. I still have the video of fucking Johnny. Johnny was like Bush hero. That was the funniest shit ever. And it's true. It is funny to watch. I loved watching spectator mode. I don't know how many times people had told me to get my ass back to the lobby because I was mesmerized by watching my killer run through the game. I was like, what? But, one thing we took away was all these younger people than us, and like you guys whose kids are playing. You're like, yeah, we need to build in this game way more than what we do because we just build like generic shit, and these people are like freaking origami artists in Fortnite.
It's crazy when I play with my son, like as he's fighting, he's like building. Like one time, literally, I turned around to make a shot at somebody, and I turned back around to go to him. And there was like a 4-story fort built up, and he's shooting down from the top of it.
It's some shit, isn't it? You're like, I can't wait. I wish my brain, because when we played video games back when we were their age, it was nothing like this. Nothing. No. Could you imagine what we would have been able to do? God.
Forget about it. So I'd be like levitating objects with my mind by now.
So that's the cool thing, though, is having kids that play games with you is that they're better at it.
so I'm gonna call Johnny Wrench out on this one. You're gonna on that Johnny Wrench out on this one.
You're picking on our Johnny.
No, I'm picking on Johnny Wrench. We're playing that free to play, and we're all sitting there grouped up, right? And we all get wrecked, and then you go to spectate, and here's Johnny in a bush noping the fuck out as we're all getting shot to shit. It was funny as hell.
It was hilarious. It was really funny.
The next day, I come home, and my son's like, "Oh, Dad, I got you to the next tier." I'm like, "What'd you do?" "Oh, I killed people." Like, I hate you so much right now.
Yes, when you actually kill people, you do well, Dad.
Not my thing.
Dude, we were more or less just trying to stay within the circle. If we didn't do bad, like as a group, it said like we were one of the lower groups to, it's not like we were the first ones out. We weren't ever the first ones out.
The best part is I think you were the only one to get a kill that night.
Yeah, I was the only one to get a kill. And I have it on video for proof, and I will somehow frame that shit. I'm like, Esme got a kill. So Mac Daddy Carrot is able to join us now. He said he lost track of time and had to get his mower running. We're just covering the weirdo news, man. So I did send the show notes. You're more than welcome to just hop in the conversation. We're streaming live on Twitch right now. So thank you, Tatsu. He said, good job, Esme. I'm going to sit down and make a video of all the little crazy stuff that we've been doing on our gaming group events. And it's going to be cool because I got to record the past week's D&D episode, so I think some of that will be neat to show people, because even Mac Daddy Carrot, when he was listening in for a little bit, was wondering like what we were looking at. And it was like he liked listening to it, but he was curious on like what screen or what we were using. So and then I'm going to kind of like try to piece together. It would be neat to do like for our gaming group like a video through the month of the games that we play together, and I thought that'd be fun.
Oh, I'm so excited talking about D&D. I finally found yellow pads. So I bought myself an old school yellow pad.
In the women's world, that's not what we talk about. You found some maxi pads.
No, like a writing pad. A writing pad. Remember the old school yellow writing pads? They're long.
Oh, a legal pad.
A legal pad.
Oh,
there you
yellow
go.
pad.
For like
I
notes and
Was I not
stuff.
the only one wondering why
No, see,
it closed?
No, see, I thought he said yellow pants.
Oh.
I thought he was
I'm
excited
sorry,
about a
you
new
yellow
outfit.
pants.
I'm
I
like,
heard
yo, check
pants,
out
but
my
I wasn't
yellow
sure what the hell
pants.
you
It's so
were
tight in the
referring to.
crotch.
Oh my god.
Making it look like a banana.
Camel toe foe. Camel toe foe.
Trending.
It's like so annoying. Every time I pee outside, I have to like stand on my toes, you know, so it doesn't get dirty.
So silly.
But yeah, so I found legal pads, which they don't sell them anywhere near me except for like Staples, and I wasn't going to those Staples just for
You
like legal
should be.
pads.
You live in New York. They sell everything there.
I would think.
But no one
Yeah,
really
but
uses
for
legal pads
Frankfurt,
anymore.
legal
You know, it's like you do everything
dollar
on your
store.
phone now. I do all that stuff
Yeah,
on my
that's
Do you
phone.
have a Walmart?
I went to the variety store, which is like the dollar store, and they had them.
Okay.
So I picked one up because back in my old school D&D days, I used to keep all of my notes for all of my games on these yellow pads because there's so much space and it's just really easy to keep. So I bought one for our game, and I transferred all of the information from the notes I was using, and now I have it all in one nice spot. It's like really cool.
Oh, see, now what I'm using is since I work for the military, they have the record books, the little like journal book type thing.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I'm using that for our game because then it's one book here that I have. I can just keep everything in it.
That's cool. I was pumped when I saw those yellow pads. I was like, I'll buy this.
No, that's super cool. Like, I have my own little notebook binder thing that I stole from my wife's classroom. So that's what I use to keep my notes.
You're a thief.
Well, she leaves that stuff lying around. It's not my fault.
Where are we in the show notes? I just lost my place.
The end of the news, so getting ready to go to individual contributions.
Oh, okay, cool.
She picked the best time to step out.
Yeah, she does that every time. She always waits until we're getting ready to skip a segment when we need the sound clips.
Yeah.
So we'll just lollygag right here. I
So-
still have not put in God of War 4 yet.
No,
I'm
I
surprised.
know. I'm so... Because, you know what? I've been playing WoW. I'll be honest with you. I've been playing a lot of WoW. That's why.
I need to go play some more Horizon Zero Dawn. I've been playing too much Conan.
Hey,
Horizon, have you
Oman
started it
wants to
yet?
know what kind of notes you would make.
Yeah. I've
For
got,
what? D&D?
D&D.
Well, since I'm running the game, I have to keep track of everybody's characters, all their hit points. I have to keep track of like the items they have, the experience points and gold that we've been giving out in the game and stuff like that. So basically, when you play a role-playing game, all the stuff the game does for you, I have to keep track of, like myself.
Yeah, and so far as a player, I don't have too many notes for this campaign yet. I do have on my first page, I have my plan for how I'm going to level up. Just because since I'm doing some multi-classing, I'm planning out what levels are going to be what. But it's
you guys are level 3 now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, everyone's level 3. Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
guys hit level 3.
but it's just the classes. Like it's not all the feats or all that stuff. I'm going. I have a couple in mind, but for those things, I'm going to play that by ear as the game progresses through, and that's going to be more fluid. And then I have a list of the NPCs, notable NPCs that we have so far, and little notes about them. Like I have Jay McFinnon's the tracker, and Beatley's the barkeep, and Zane is the rune mage, and all that stuff. And then
I had a lot of fun like searching the internet to try and put faces to like a few of their names.
Yeah.
It wasn't as easy to do as you would think, but I found a couple of good ones.
And the last thing I
one am I
have
looking
is some of the some of the extra items we have, like that cloak of many things that my character has. I have there and listed all the different patches I have. It has in it, so I can tick those down as I actually use them.
Right.
And if we get any kind of like side quest or bounties, I'm keeping track of that. Like I have written down box of seashells for the camp. That, that's one of the kind of side quest things we have going on. So keeping track of stuff like that, because I forget all that shit.
So
I have horrible memory.
Everybody does. You got to keep track.
Oman 1 was saying, that's cool. Does keeping notes affect actions in game moving forward?
Well, no, because you just do it as the game goes. Like, it's just like you write down some notes here and there as the game's going.
And it's one of those things like, so I like to try to keep player knowledge versus character knowledge separate. And so stuff like this is stuff that I'm gonna forget week to week, but my characters, he's living this stuff. He's gonna remember this stuff. It's gonna be significant events. He's gonna be seeing these people. So, it's kind of trying to keep track of what my character remembers.
Honestly, when you're role playing, it all just becomes kind of just one thing. It just becomes one. It just all becomes one. Like if you're a role player, you just used to keep notes as you play. It's just something you do when you role play.
I've learned that the hard way because mine look a little crazy, so I need to up my note game.
Yeah, because you only do so much in 1 week in like one session, and then if you come back next week, you can't remember everything.
And also, another thing that I usually try to keep notes on is if my character has any like significant like personality quirks that he develops over time that I want to make sure I remember that. Like if all of a sudden something happens and I decide he's now arachnophobic or something, I want to make sure that I remember that, so I can so I can play to it, or if any other significant thing happens, some NPC that got away that he really wants to kill or something, so any little things like that I can bring back later into the campaign. That's the nice thing about having the ongoing campaign as opposed to the way that I used to play a lot of my gaming, through like the Pathfinder Society, where each adventure was its own separate thing, and there was a persistent world going on, but it wasn't the same group of people all the time.
Right.
So, it's nice to have that, same group of people that's going through because your characters are growing with you. So, your characters know each other, and so quirks and stuff like that your characters have developed, or if there's any particular tactics that you guys have decided on, like let's execute plan B. It's going to be one thing.
All this D&D talk has me fired up for this weekend. That's what I got to say.
But
don't remind me.
But and like
bad though for Blue because he can't join us.
So especially with my character being an illusionist, the times that I've played them before, I've usually only try to play them in ongoing campaigns, because then my character will kind of tell everybody else, when I, what type of things I'm going to make illusions and what type of things I'm going to be making real, and that way they get, they get bonuses, or they just straight out know that it's an illusion and can act accordingly instead of having to make their saving throw, because there's certain tactics you can do that will give you a great advantage if you know that it's an illusion. And it's one of those things, as our characters have been adventuring together, they know that every time I make, a wall appear in front of us, it's an illusion wall, because I can't cast that spell in real life.
Right.
So then they'll know, Zorko, wiggled his fingers and a wall appeared. That's an illusion wall. I know that, it's fake and I can see through it.
Right.
And then, then they can see that. So it's stuff like that I like having the persistent campaign for.
Yeah, definitely. And in our Twitch chat, we have Tatsu86 says, D&D is the father of most of our video game RPGs, he feels, and I imagine it's fun to pick up if you like RPG games. It is pretty cool. We're a lot of us are new in the Crossroad Rebellion gaming group, and Foe is our dungeon master, and he's been really helpful teaching us noobs and very patient with us, because it's like probably herding cats. Sometimes some of us are noobs, some of us are not.
Well, so even with pros, it can be herding cats just as bad, sometimes worse, because they have bad habits.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, true.
As well as, you have some people, like, depending on how the rules are being played and run, like, I know the 3-5 rules, very well because I played it so much. We're not playing by strict 3-5 rules, which I'm fine with, and I'm not gonna argue something, programmatically how it works, because, it's DM fiat for the things is always my role as a player and as a DM. But I've played with plenty of people where they will sit there and argue right. a point saying, no, the rule says this, so it has to run exactly like this.
That's the kind of people that suck the life out of everything. The really anal people that are like, they focus so much on the nitty gritty that they don't...
You know what it is, though? That also comes from people that got into role-playing when it was already an established thing. Like, I'm like an old school role player from like first edition. And, so... a lot of times you use the rules, but it was always a thing where the DM is allowed to take those rules and to cut them however he wants to fit like the story.
Yeah, it's rule 0. The DM is always right.
Right.
But yeah, like in the one gaming group I had one DM who would refuse to let one person play and underneath him because the guy would argue, and he's like, I'm not going to let him play in any session that I run because he didn't want to get into a fight and an argument with it.
Yeah,
with the
that's
guy.
stressful because you're trying to do something and then it gets a little off track and it makes it more of a scene. And I can see where that.
Well, and it slows the game down.
You just have to draw the line.
Yeah, and it slows the game down, and
slows the game down, and then people get taken out of this story.
But because in that type of session with the Pathfinder Society stuff that I was playing, where that was a thing, you had basically each adventure you had approximately 5 hours to run it in, because you were playing at a store, and according to the rules of the organized play, you weren't supposed to run much more than 5 hours, and so. If one guy is slowing the game down for everybody because he wants to argue that, this one thing, should happen or shouldn't happen type thing, especially when there's no real rule behind it, and, then, it's like, no, I'm going to make a decision, and you're going to live by that decision. If you don't like it, pick up your character and walk away from the table.
That's all. Actually, that character belongs to me, so just walk away from the table.
There you go. But we're going to be moving into what we've been doing in game, what we've been binging on, and all that jazz. Here we go. All right, Mr. Blue, you are first up. You are first up, man.
I
moved people around.
Oh, I knew it was happening. As soon as you were in first and I was going to put my stuff in second, I knew you were bouncing out of that quick.
Exactly. You got it.
So I knew what was up. I expected this.
Okay.
All right, so...
and I love how it's always blue.
I do that on purpose every time.
And Giga just bailed on us. He said he had magical surprise company coming over. What is that? Is that a booty call? Or does he have a hurricane?
Well, either that or he's got explosive diarrhea that he's got to go into his pool and get rid of.
He might need
Good
to
thing he doesn't listen to this.
Dad or his mom just came back from Rite Aid and she got a new bottle of lotion.
Yes. Put the lotion on the skin.
Jergens. Gotta have that Jergens.
Dad came back from
it puts the lotion in the basket.
Walmart getting cigarettes.
Puts the lotion in the basket or it gets the hose again.
So lately, I've been playing WoW, doing the whole dungeon grind.
Whipping out Wednesdays? You've been whipping them out every Wednesday?
Don't tempt me.
Oh!
Damn! But playing WoW, me and Bo have been doing the dungeon grind when we get an opportunity. But I'm about, I don't know what, 10 levels above you, ish.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
So whenever I hit the new content, it won't allow us to queue up together anymore. Even though I could easily just do something that he's running, it won't let us queue up together. It's weird.
Which is odd because if they're scaling dungeons now, why? Yeah, exactly. Maybe I can't do the Pandera stuff at the moment because I'm a couple of levels behind. But you should be able to scale down to what I'm doing.
Yeah, I don't understand why that's an issue. I don't know. I find it kind of stupid, but maybe that's just me. I don't know.
Because the damn PvPers.
I haven't even tried it yet, so it would be interesting if I take one of my higher level characters and try to group with you to see if I can pull you into something.
No, you can't.
It depends on your level. If
well, we're almost there. What is your character? Level 100, your hunter? But what's your favorite character?
My favorite one is 102.
Was that sexy night elf?
Nope, that was only 100.
No, blood elf I meant. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she's not even. I think she's just 102. I don't think she made the max level yet. So
I think 110.
Yeah,
is
she
max
had
level.
that Blood Knight
armor on the female figures is
I know, it's delicious, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really good.
I love it. That's my favorite transmog too. Is the freaking Blood Knight.
I'll have to look that up. I
made so much money off that armor set in the auction house back in the day. I used to hunt for that set. I used to hunt the auction house. I used to buy them up because sometimes people would only post them for like $1 gold because they just thought it was a low level set. I used to snatch that bad boy up, put it back up for 800.
Yep.
Nice.
I hear ya. It's good stuff. Love it. So back to you, Blue. Now that we're getting WoW chubbies over here over the Fortnite.
Telling you, like, ever since I started playing again, I've been like just sucked into it, and that's all I've been doing really. But I stopped playing a little bit after Cataclysm came out. Like I gave Cataclysm a chance, and it was good at first, and then they did that whole thing where they like simplified the characters for the casual player.
Yeah.
And I had put in a ass ton of work on my character. I did all the theory crafting and all that, and I had like the best in slot and some of the
But
best
it's even
stats.
more simple now, though, to tell you the truth. Like in Cataclysm, there was still a lot to your stats and like glyphs and stuff like that, but that's all gone now.
Yeah,
they basically hand you your like they basically spoon feed you your skills now.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what they did to set the game up to the casual player.
Right.
And I had a lot of work, and so I quit because I was flat out pissed. I was angry. So I never got to play the Pandora's Mist content. So when I hit level 80, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna check this out. So far, I'm digging it. It's a little weird. It's goofy. It doesn't really fit in the whole WoW thing. But it's whatever. It's fun. It's different. Yeah. So I've been doing that. Currently, my character is at level 87. My goal is to try and hit level 90 tonight before I went to bed. But I don't think that's going to happen because I didn't realize we're going to be streaming tonight. So I've been messing around with the chat.
Good. I'm glad.
But like the past 2 weeks, every time we're podcasting, I'm sitting here playing WoW. So.
Yeah, and it sucks when you try to podcast with people who want to play games too, because half of their brain is working when you podcast with them.
Oh yeah. You hear,
it's true, and that was the problem we were having when we were doing like 4 streams at once. You know, we were splitting it up. Like that was the issue.
Well, yeah, because
it was painful.
Because it was you didn't have time to game if you were streaming all the time.
It was like pulling teeth.
It was. And for our talkies like Foe and I, we're like, come on, mofos, come on, talk. This is a freaking podcast.
Well, I can see that with Ark, because with Ark, if you die, you lose everything, so you have to pay attention.
Yes.
With WoW, if I die, I just freaking run back to my corpse and resurrect, so it's like whatever.
Usually in Ark, if I was streaming Ark while we were casting, I would just be like around my place building stuff. I wouldn't be like out there adventuring in like a cave or something, I would be like, putting up walls, building up the hotel, things like that.
Yeah. So that could be difficult too, because you're trying to get that damn snap point to work.
Exactly.
True.
So besides Ark, I've kind of been out of Discord for a little bit. I've been listening to a podcast called Dungeons and Randomness, and what it is, it's a D&D podcast. I've talked about it before in the past. It has 2 separate arcs. It's been going now, I think, for like 6 or 7 years. And last week, I just finished episode 200, which is the final episode of Arc 1. And I have to say, I really enjoyed how it ended. I really wish they were able to do a little bit more with some of their storylines, but you could really tell that they were just running out of time. And as is, the final episode was like 8 hours long after editing. So I really can't even be mad. 8 hours of content's pretty damn good for one show.
That's true.
And they have all these behind the scenes things that if you subscribe to their Patreon or whatever, you can listen to. And I recently decided to subscribe to them, and I've just been listening to their extra content that they've been putting out for like character chats and stuff, because they've had over the years quite a few characters rotate in and out, and I always wondered what happened to those people, and you get a lot of behind the scenes look at what's going on with that, and it was really cool to hear. So,
well, that's cool.
What sort of stuff? I'm trying to picture it. Like, I don't really have anything to go off from.
So, they had some characters in the second group that he created, because he has in Arc 1, he has 4 separate groups playing at the same time. Like, not at the same time, but in the same timeline. and in one of the groups there was some real life drama going on behind the scenes.
Oh.
And they kind of talk about how that stuff affected the other players and games and stuff like that.
Oh,
and
that's
so,
interesting.
I mean, it gives you kind of a look about what's going on. Some of it is, some people might be offended by it, but I'm a nosy body. Like, I love to hear about that kind of shit. So that stuff was really cool to listen to for me. But I'm sure they got a lot of shit for it because stuff like that comes up a lot less now than it did in the past.
Okay. So, okay. I'm like trying to get a vibe, but not really sure.
Well, I mean, it's just what they do is they do interviews. Like, they have character chats where they'll interview the characters, the people playing the characters. And basically they just talk about how things were going, how they got into it, how they rolled their character. And every once in a while they give you little juicy tidbits like that about some of the drama, which is really awesome to me.
And it really is a big deal too, with all that stuff, because you know, like, if the real life stuff does bleed into the game like that, because it sucks when people can't make it. You know, I've noticed, like, when you are trying to just do your normal campaigning, like, people can't make it for like normal reasons, and then to throw on top of it like real life reasons and people like bickering or fighting or not getting along or whatever, then that it can really rock an entire group. Is that kind of like, it has a lot of repercussions.
Like the one I recently listened to, they were talking about her introduction to the show and that it was really on rocky grounds because the people in the group didn't want a new player. And then when they introduced her,
that just sucks even more.
Right? And it wasn't even because of her. It was just because they just didn't want a new person.
Right.
And so I guess a bunch of stuff happened that made things kind of uneasy. And and at some point, one of these characters ended up dying. And after she died, they was pretty much, all right, that's cool, we're done with you. And so, I mean, it was a fitting ending for that character.
Right.
Yeah, by the way, like in D&D, when you die, that's it. Your character's dead. Like,
well, no, because later on in D&D, there's spells.
Well, you could resurrect.
People.
Yeah, you could do resurrection. Yeah, there are resurrections. Sure.
But the DM that runs the show, he doesn't like resurrections because he feels like it takes away from the reality of things. Like death isn't finite, and so he came up with rules like homebrewed stuff to make things more difficult and make you kind of think twice before you resurrect somebody, because
he's a dungeon master and he wants reality in it.
Well, I shouldn't say he wants reality in it. He just wants a more realistic version of a world with magic.
What happens? Well, what winds up happening in like D&D and stuff like that, when you think you could just resurrect, you kind of start to roleplay a character in ways where you normally wouldn't if you knew if this character dies, that's it. You know what I'm saying? So you start to take like risks that realistically you never take.
Is simple or cheap. I mean,
no, it's very expensive.
Like, you know, if you're going by the
you
rules
could lose
itself,
levels.
It costs 5,000 gold.
And you could lose levels, and a lot of things could go wrong.
And I mean, you know, depending on, you know, like if you're playing straight up, you know, rules as written, you know, then it costs 5,000 gold, and even then, it's not just 5,000 gold. It's, you know, according to how the rules are written, you need a diamond that is worth at least 5,000 gold. So if the DM wants to make it difficult, you know, he can still abide by the rules and say, okay, fine, you need to get a diamond. You have to go on this, you know, there's no diamonds around where you are. You're out in a, you know, in a settlement somewhere else. You have to either trek your way back to a big city to try to find one, or you heard word that there's this, you know, this person, you know, somewhere else, and you have to go on this quest to get it. So you can put resurrections into the story arc, which is neat. With the last campaign that I was in, the way that the world was written, a lot of the standard rules weren't going, and so if our character died, essentially there was this other beast in the world that would appear and would kind of consume our soul, and if we wanted to try to get that character back, you know, we had to go and try to like confront that thing. We had to, you know, go find it and confront it in order to get the person's soul back, and we had to do that on like 2 or 3 different occasions, and it, you know. It was one of those things like, we have a quest we're going on. Do we really want to go and do this, you know, to the side? And yeah, as players, like, yeah, because we don't want, you know, this other person to be, you know, dicked out and not have a character to play. But, you know, we had to come up with a a role play reason to do it, and then we had to go and then spend 2-3 sessions going on this side quest to go and do it, and it was really neat the way that he did it, and really enjoyed it because it always cost us and the players something, not monetary, but it cost us something, some other favor we had to go and do, and then
sure. And there's also a lot of things. There's a lot of rules as written that that like some dungeon masters like mess with, because there's like some things that are very over the top. Like certain things, there's a lot of things in D&D that are just outright over the top.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people like to mess with rust monsters. If you play rust monsters as written, your gear straight up gets destroyed by these things.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Magic gear, it has a chance to survive it.
Exactly. But you could even lose magic gear to it. Yep. And it's pretty brutal. Like if you get like a magic sword and it's really good, those don't come around like all the time. And if you hit a rust monster with it and it's gone, that's upsetting.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I can tell from listening to his podcast, like there's just certain things about the rules that he didn't like, so he kind of just homebrewed it to more fit in his idea of his world, I guess.
Which is what happens most times, which is a good thing in my opinion. A lot of times, just as long as you are consistent with whatever rules you do make, because there's nothing worse than your characters not knowing the rules of the world they're in. We know certain rules of the world that we are in, and so because we live here, and so if something happens that is off of that, then then it pisses it kind of pisses you off if you're expecting to throw a rock into a puddle and for it to actually land and go into the water. Well, if you throw it and it floats on top of the water, well,
by the way, in my world, if you want to resurrect someone, you have to have sex with a troll and get it pregnant and then sacrifice the baby troll in order to raise the half human, half baby troll that you guys made in order to resurrect your friend.
Well, if I die in your campaign, I am just rolling a new character. I'm just saying.
Could I outsource the fuckery and then?
No, it has to be someone close to the original character.
Is this not GTA?
Well, but what if you're what if your character is of a race that can't impregnate a troll, like our Minotaur or our Construct?
What if somebody doesn't have twig and berries?
Then you're re-rolling.
You're not getting resurrected. Then it looks like.
Then you don't get to roll for girth.
Your girth roll wasn't good enough.
But so, yeah.
Man, if you got to do it, you're a female character. That means you got to carry the troll baby.
Oh dear God! Oof. No, thank you. Can I have a surrogate? Can't someone be my surrogate or something? God.
And I feel kind of bad because there was one gal in Arc 1 where she gets introduced and 6 episodes in, her character gets killed. So she re-rolls.
Oh, Lordy.
2 episodes into that new character, that character gets murdered. And then she ended up re-rolling a final character for that arc and finished it up.
Yeah, so that reminds me of not the last campaign I was in, but the campaign before that. I joined in. They had already started. They had already been playing for a while. They were maybe 3rd level or something, kind of like us. A month or so in, and my first session, my character dies. And and it's one thing. I wouldn't have been upset if it was through a bad decision that I had made, because that's fine. If I make a decision, I make a risk, and I get bitten in the ass for it, I'm fine with that. Right. But it was I rolled a 1 on a saving throw. Because we went down and we killed this, the big boss in the bottom of the castle, and as the cliche goes, the castle starts crumbling and falling down, and so we're sitting there hauling our way out of there, and rocks are falling, and holes are opening up, and we had to roll reflex saves, and it was simple reflex saves. You only had to roll a 5 or a 7 or something, but I rolled a 1, and so he deemed my character fell into a pit, and essentially the castle crashed on top of him, and he had said my character wasn't exactly dead. They, if they chose, the players could have come back to try to find me and dig me out, but they're like, nope, we're not going to do it. so I had to reroll a character. Sucks. Then the next character I had lasted 4 or 5 sessions, and that was partially, I ran a calculated risk, but again, it was a poor another poor die roll. We were playing around with a deck of many things, which, if you're not aware what a deck of many things is, essentially this magical deck of tarot cards, and you can go down and you can choose to draw. I think you can choose to draw like 1 to 4 cards or something like that. But you have to decide how many you're going to draw before you start drawing, and then you have to draw every one, and essentially, whatever the effects of it are, you have to deal with. And it's a very powerful artifact. There's lots of good effects, like you gain a castle, or there's other, cool. Or there's bad effects like all of your belongings disappear, or death appears. You have to have a one-on-one duel with death. So it's a powerful thing, and so we drew from him, and the DM had actually made a custom version of the deck. He had changed out some of the effects here and there, and so my character drew an effect where essentially became instead of positively aligned with positive energy, became negatively aligned like an undead, where heal spells hurt him, so I couldn't be healed by normal means. So I was like, okay, this kind of sucks, but we'll deal with it, and so lasted a couple more sessions after that. And then the quest we were on was for this artifact type thing for this town, where they had this ceremony every like 10 years or whatever, where they'd use this artifact, and essentially they would put it in this area, and it would siphon all this power and get super powerful, and then they would bring it back, and then they would put their energy into it, and it would shoot this blast out that would basically cure every ill of their city. It would cure all diseases, all disorders, and all that stuff. So I was like, okay, well, this is going to be my chance to get rid of this thing, to get cured, go back to normal. So I decided to stay in the town when the thing went off, and well, it was a burst of positive energy, and so it was going to cure me, but he had me roll a saving throw to see if if I was taking basically half of the damage from it or full damage. And again, I rolled a 1.
Oh, okay.
So I was taking full damage. And so the damage that he rolled, which I'm still pissed at the way he did it, was he rolled a 1d100 for the damage.
You roll 100?
And he rolled an 87.
Damn.
Jesus.
And so
that would kill like a level 20 character. Like, I don't get it.
And now my character had like 74 hit points or something like that, so I was almost alive. But it was like just enough to like completely kill me right out. And then he also said with that,
murder snow you.
not only did it kill me, but he also said that the other effect of this rod was not only did it cure all the ills that people had, but it also removed all of their dead, like basically from existence, and removed all memory of those, because essentially it was their way of dealing with grief. Is they just forgot about all the people that they had lost, and their bodies disappeared. So my character was completely out of existence.
That's messed up.
And
that's nuts.
Yeah, so then I had to build a third character for that campaign.
AKA, he just wants that character gone.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And that can be tough, especially if you invest a lot of time in the character.
I was in a group one time.
You're never going to be able to talk about this song, Blue Moon. You're never going to.
As a player, forget about Blue Moon, Blue. So anyway, I was in a group one time, and the politics got so bad because it was like 8 players, and the politics got so bad, it got to the point where like they were evil characters that we didn't know were evil, and they were doing things like behind our backs.
What is going on? Oh.
Like, I had this one character. It was a female archer. She was amazing. As a matter of fact, your character is loosely based off her, right? So she was this amazing character, and one of the guys in the party didn't like my character. So there was a whole thing of buffaloes coming through, a herd. And he purposely caused a stampede. And mind you, my elf...
I never even thought about like
my
not
elf,
your fellow character.
Exactly. My elf had a 20 dex. I roll a 20 and fail the check. And and what sucks about having a super high stat is that when you fail big. So it wind up bringing my character almost to death. He was definitely trying to kill my character off.
So
I was so mad.
Like, like, how does that happen? Does somebody being a
Because he was role playing. He was kind of being a douche canoe, and he was role playing a secretly chaotic evil character.
So was the person and the character both chaotic evil?
Well, no, but he was role playing a chaotic evil character behind the scenes.
Oh, okay. I guess I've never even contemplated that whole thing.
Oh, my last campaign, we had a lot of kind of in-character disputes. You know, the players. Well, one player we had some issues, and that led to some in-character disputes. But it was mostly in-character disputes, just because based upon the personalities that our characters had been built and the decisions our characters had been making. So yeah, there was times when we had people kind of try to kill each other to some degree.
That can make for a rough group, and that can break groups apart.
Yeah, definitely. And anything really, not just D&D groups, but like any type of groups, gaming groups.
Well, and you know what's crazy?
Guilds.
Back in the day, there was actually groups that you would get together, and you actually had PvP with other groups.
Really?
And what would happen? Yeah, when a PvP between two D&D groups would go on, the two dungeon masters would get together and oversee the overall PvP battle.
That is interesting.
And
that sounds like fun, actually.
I had one of the best things that I've done in that battle. Well, I was only involved in like one of them. They weren't like every day. It was like kind of rare to have these things. So I had this necklace of strangulation. It was, and basically it was a cursed necklace. And if you put it on, it would strangle you to death. There was no way of breaking it.
Why would you even have that?
Well, what happened was...
If he was a thief, a rogue, an assassin.
Exactly. So what happened was I was a rogue. So what happened was when we started the battle, I made an offering. I said it was a battle offering to like their lead fighter. And he put it on as like a sign of respect, and he died.
Oh my god.
Nice. You just choked him out.
Chat, oh man said, game friends are still real friends. My wife and I just had a baby and increased workload for our ARC tribe. I feel sympathy for certain tribe mates planning to escape the bad environments. Like one guy lives in Brazil, apparently a very violent part of the country. So his games, because we're talking about all the different like type of personalities and stuff that you come across in real life and stuff, and his game friends he considers real close friends. So, and then Tatsu says, "Man, the PvP on D&D must be crazy." Definitely not the fight that we had the last round with us. Me and that freaking rogue, man, we had like a slap fest. Like, it was hilarious. I was trying to describe it to my husband the next day, and he's just looking at me like I'm a weirdo. I'm like, no, you don't understand. It was
that was so funny.
Was he
trying to explain a D&D slap fest?
But see, and that was one of the things that
to a non-D&D person, they just look at you like you're not there.
That was one of the things in that last campaign I was with. The one guy, his personality, he always had to try to one up everybody, or at least he was trying to.
People like that, just in general.
And so he was always kind of saying like, "Oh, my character could just do this and destroy your character."
My character likes bananas,
and all kinds of like that. And depending on the character, like my character, I had actually planned out how I would take out every one of the other characters if I had to. I had kind of planned it saying, with this character, I'd have to. He has a high reflex save and a high armor class, so I'm not going to do something that's going to do that. I'm going to hit him. I'm going to hit him with a spell. Going to hit him with a spell that's going to break his will, and and incapacitate him that way. This other character here, has a high will, but his he has no movement. His reflex save sucks. So I'm going to hit him with something that's going to trip him up there. So I had plans, in order to take out every character if it came to it. But my character was also introduced where they all hated him and nearly killed him, just because the way that he got introduced into the story, he came in as a villain.
Okay.
Or as the prime minion of one of the villains they're in. He was a necromancer, and he had, working for the enemy, he had raised up a army of 30,000 undead that were essentially villagers that willingly sacrificed themselves to go through the process of getting killed and becoming raised as an undead army. And my character was the general of that army, who was going against the army that the rest of the party had. So the first time they saw me, I was essentially at the front of their enemy. and when they found out that I was responsible for killing 30,000 innocent lives, even though they were willing, it was not something that they got over very quickly.
Crazy.
See, and that's what I love about D&D. It could get super creative and fun.
Yeah, that campaign was such a blast. I loved it.
My kids just came back from driving their mom to work, and I got a payday candy bar. All right.
Right. So if you're looking for a D&D podcast to listen to, I highly suggest listening or looking up Dungeons and Randomness. They do have a overview of the Arc 1, so you don't have to listen to all God knows how many hours of 200 episodes. And I would highly suggest starting with Arc 2 because it's just super good. The people are really good at RPing their roles. And the storylines have been great. They have currently 3 groups running. And I don't know what their plans are for future, but right now it's just 3 groups and they're all really good. So, and
awesome.
Last but not least, I love the song Blue Moon. So before we sat down today, I listened to different versions of it because there is way too many for me to even bother counting. And I kind of capped off my 3 favorites. I enjoyed the Frank Sinatra version. Another group by a group called Shanana or
Shanana,
which was on the Grease soundtrack apparently. And then I'm gonna mispronounce this, I'm sure. The Marcel's version. They all, I just like the different styles of how they did the song, and it's the same song, but they all sound different. I loved it. As coming from me to the listeners, I want you guys to let me know which version you like. Hit me up on Discord under the What Are You Listening To channel. Just tag me in it. Let me know what version you like. Also, you can hit me up on Twitter. It's at Spudwick22. Just let me know. I'm curious. See what everybody else thinks. And with that, on to cricket.
On to cricket.
Oh, you guys still want to hear me talk?
Hey, I love your self-awareness. Okay. It's amazing.
So
yes, we still want to hear you talk.
Yeah, so I've missed the past 2 Crossroom casts that we've had, just things going on in real life and being tired and all that. So I haven't gotten a chance to talk too much about the game that I was so excited about that came out now a month ago, and that was God of War 4. So I binged through it and defeated it. It's such an awesome game. I've always loved those games, and I really like what they've done with the lore of it. I was worried that they were gonna have us go too deep into the pantheon of the Norse gods and kill too many people to make it tough for sequels, but they did not do that. So they left a lot open still for sequels. A lot of good story writing within it, a lot of good character development for Kratos in general, which I really liked. I've done some of the the kind of end game grinding things. There's still a couple of things I have to do, but I think I'm gonna wait. I think they've announced that there is actually going to be a New Game Plus put in. From what I've been seeing, they're saying that we see everybody wants it, so we're working on it. So I'm gonna wait a little bit, see if they put a New Game Plus out, and then when they do, I'll play New Game Plus and up the difficulty to either the hardest or the second hardest. Most of the times when I play these games, I usually crank the difficulty up, and then it takes a lot longer to go through. But I figured it had been a while since I had done it, and I have a lot of other things I want to do, so I wanted to get through the story. I didn't want to have to grind for 2 months in order to get through the story. So I figured I would go on basically the mid tier, the normal difficulty, and not crank it up the first time through. So I was able to get through the story, and it's still a difficult enough game as it is, even on the normal difficulty. So it's a really fun game. If you have a PS4, you got to get the game. The story's great, the gameplay's great, and all of that. So after I played that and beat that, then I decided to pick up Horizon Zero Dawn, since that was a game that I've been tracking that game since it came out.
That game is so good.
It was one of those, unfortunately, it was on PS4 and I didn't own a PS4, so I was like, oh man, I'd like to play this game, but I'm not going to buy the system just for that game. So So I've been playing it. And it is an awesome game. The story of it's getting is neat so far. It has some nice lore behind it and some kind of hidden mysteries of what's going on and all that. As well as the combat. If you for the most part, if you go straight up and try to face tank the things, you're gonna get killed by most of them. So there's a lot of stealth mode stuff in it, kind of like the Batman games, where you can if there's a lot of creatures, you can kind of sneak around and take some of them out, with stealth takedowns, and it's neat to be able to do that, and just go through and kind of strategically plan out your attack. So I'm liking that. I want to play some more of it, but the gaming group got me involved in another survival game that officially launched. What was it, on the 8th, I think, or the 18th, I think it was, and that was Conan Exiles.
Yeah, I think it was the 18th.
Yeah, I think it was the 18th.
Seems like it was most recent because Yogi's server hasn't been up but a week now. Right?
Yeah. Yes. And so I've only had the game for about a week, but looking at Steam, I already have 98 hours on it.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, one of our members, Yogi Bear Cub, he won a 3-month server for Conan Exiles.
3-month server.
And so he has that stood up. I don't know if he has it public or whether it's private, but it's definitely open to CRR gaming members. So for the most part, it's been me and Falloon and Yogi, or Tuxedo Badger, playing the majority of the time. Emmeti's been playing, a good deal, and I've seen a couple other people that I didn't recognize. So they might be newer members. I can't remember the names, but I'm having a lot of fun with it so far. You have to compare it to Ark, because everybody does, because it's a survival game, and it has a lot of very similar comparisons to it. The building is similar. All the snapping points, just a lot of the structures are similar to it. It comes with wedges out of the box, which is neat. But there's so much more stuff there's so much cool stuff that I like about it. Like the gear customization. There's more than just cloth, leather, hide, kite and flak ride. I mean, there's probably 20 different outfits in there, and it's categorized by light, medium, and heavy armor. And the looks of them, they put a lot of detail into defining the look of what they look like. And so you can go, and a lot of them have similar stats, so it's more of a what do I want to look like for my character, as opposed to which one I'm min-maxing it. Which one am I going to pick to be the best gear? Because there's so many that are are similar and and the best in that aspect. Some of the other things that it has in there is it has, I don't want to really call them dungeons. It has instances. Right now, one of them, which was the first one that was out, does have a little bit of puzzles to it. You have to figure out some switch puzzles in order to get through it. But for the most part, they're just, you go in there and it's an instanced version of fighting a boss. But then when you fight that boss, you get one item for the storyline, but then you also kind of learn some new recipes for some better weapons or armor. And then they also, with bosses, they have some world spawn bosses, which they spawn in different areas of the world, and you go and you kill them, and then you get a skeleton key that opens up a chest that gives you a legendary weapon. And I think there's 4 or 5 different weapons of each weapon type, and then there's about 8 different weapon types, so there's probably 40 different legendary weapons or so. So it's gonna take some time to kind of collect them all, even with our settings with it 5 times. It means you get 5 keys when you kill the boss, but it still takes some time to to collect them all if you want to, which it gives you something to do. Another thing that they've added in, or they have in there, that's kind of neat, which I think it's a cool aspect for PvE, especially. It's called the Purge. So it's based upon clan, and as you are building things and doing and basically progressing within the game, this purge meter builds up, and when it hits a certain threshold, then you get NPC waves of creatures that will attack one of your bases.
That sounds so cool, doesn't it? I want to do it so bad.
And so
that is a game changer right there.
Yeah, so if it like depending on the server settings, you can have it set up where a purge won't happen unless there's so many characters, so many people online. That it won't purge when you're offline. But we've had one so far, and Tuxedo and Fel had one base, really large base in one area, and I had a smaller base in another area. So we weren't sure which base was going to hit it first. And all three of us happened to be on that night, and a message popped up to us saying, basically the purge is about to happen in 10 minutes. Get prepared.
Oh my god!
And so we weren't sure where it was going to be. They were, they hauled ass over to their base. I went relatively close to my base until we saw where it was going to be. But we kind of figured out, because they were in the jungle and I was in kind of like a savanna area, and it said something about gray apes are planning to attack. So okay, well, since it's the apes, it's going to be in the jungle base. So I started moving heading my way over there, and I got there by, I think the time the second wave had just ended. And essentially there was 4 or 5 waves of different progressively stronger NPCs that were coming in, and they were attacking the base. They destroyed a few walls, and I think depending on how your base is built up and who's online and all that stuff, you can have part of your base just get destroyed, and it's just a neat thing. I assume that you can probably tweak it to make it happen more often, and maybe even more powerful. If you want to say, hey, if you're going to be a tribe that does a lot of building, you're going to get it torn down by the NPCs. By the NPCs, you're going to have to rebuild more often. So I don't know if it just happened, if it was a new feature that just came out with the release, or whether it's been out for a while. So they might still need some tweaking to it. But it's a neat feature.
Yeah, it is.
And then the other neat feature, so there's no dinos to tame, but there is a taming of sorts in part of the way that you unlock some of the better gear, as well as just make your base work better, is you go and you find the human NPCs, and you knock them out, you tie them up with a rope, and you drag them back to your wheel of pain. So if you watch the original Conan movie, if you remember, after his village got raided and his parents got killed, he got basically captured, and he was forced to push around this push this big log that was attached to this grinding wheel in a circle. And as it went through, there was a lot of people that were on it, and then it showed progressively less and less people there until it's just him. And so that's what the Wheel of Pain is. Essentially, you're torturing these people until they've submitted to become your thralls, your servants. And then when they become your servants, then you can put them to work. So there's different types of them. There's fighters, which are just melee based fighters. There's archers, so those would be your base defenses. But then there's the artisans, there's blacksmiths, there's armorers, there's tanners. And so if you put a blacksmith and have him work in your smithy, then not only does it, depending on how good he is, he might unlock some new designs for you, but he'll also decrease the amount of materials you need to craft stuff, increase the speed of crafting things. And so with these NPCs, it becomes the thing where you're going through and trying to find the higher level ones in order to have your base work better, and as well as unlock the different items. It's more so right now with the armorers, because you can get epic and exceptional and flawless versions of the armor, but it's based upon the race of the armorer, of which ones they'll unlock, and then even the faction, because there's a few different tribes that are out there that you're stealing them from. And so depending on the race and their faction will determine what armor, what higher quality armor they're unlocking. So it becomes one of those things where you're going into the camps and you're seeing what's spawned, and you're killing the guys, or you're knocking them out and dragging them out and forcing them to become slaves. So it's a neat little like mini game, type thing of sorts.
Right.
Trying to find that kind of perfect tame in a way. So yeah, I've been spending a lot of time setting up my wheels of pain outside of some of the camps and just going in there and doing the routes and clearing them out and taking what I want and killing the rest so they respawn.
I haven't got to play since when it first had come out, and we all got a server, and even then it played pretty good for being a new early access.
Yeah.
And I know we did a couple episodes on it, Rated Exiles. We did a couple episodes on it, and I was impressed when I logged back in, and I made a character. Like, it was still awesome looking, the graphics were cool, but I didn't get to, like I said, I made my character, and then I went back to play her, and I couldn't find her, so I'm going to just have to see if I have to make another one, or what, but...
Yeah, I know Fel said the game has gotten a lot better since, when he first started playing with the early access. So I don't know how it was before, but it's as good, if not better, I would say, than Ark was at release. I think it's had time, 2 years, whatever, to kind of learn some of the things to watch out for. There's still some things that are kind of pains in the butt that I'm kind of surprised have made it through. Like when you drop a box down, it comes at it drops down defaulted unlocked. It's like
okay.
Like it was the same complaint I had with PixARK doing that. It's like,
right.
Did you not learn from from the past? It's like, how hard is it to just change the thing to say no? Make it locked by default when you drop it down instead of
little things like that make a quality of life differences.
Yeah, and like another quality of life thing, it's that's kind of a pain, is when you die and go back and get your corpse. In Ark, you kind of have this the shadow hotbar, where when you grab your corpse, the stuff that was on your hotbar goes back onto the spots it was. On this one, it doesn't. So you go back, you grab your corpse. You can't drag your corpse, so you have to grab your gear from where it's sitting, which is probably next to a creature somewhere. And then you have to go and turn on auto run and start running away from the person while you're opening up your inventory and clicking on your armor to equip your armor and clicking on a weapon and maybe some other gear to get ready to actually go into combat, instead of being able to go and just loot your corpse and you're ready to go. And so that's kind of a pain. So hopefully they change that, at least the hotbar, just because I hate having to go back and reset where my what items I had on what slots of the hotbar.
Right.
But
yeah, that is handy.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens in the future. I'm gonna be playing it for a while, at least on and off until while we have the server, and then we'll see what happens after that, whether someone runs a server afterwards or not. But it's a nice game. I mean, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So it's not too expensive, if you want to pick it up, but.
Mac Daddy Kara, are you playing it on console yet? I think you were saying last time we recorded that you were.
I've played it a little bit. I haven't put a whole lot of time into it yet.
Oh, okay. And you had a group of friends that were playing it?
Yeah, they decided to go out to official and just try to go for alpha status right off the bat.
Oh, okay.
And I did that with Ark, and I didn't really want to do it with Conan. I wanted to play more of the story right off the bat.
Yeah. It definitely has a different vibe to it.
One thing I did hear with console is that it suffers from one of the same problems that Ark does, with the radial menus being kind of a pain in the ass to navigate through. But
my biggest issue with it is just the whole inventory setup right now. I got so used to how Ark is nice and polished now, and Conan is just a mess compared to that at the moment.
Yeah, and their crafting is a pain in the ass. There's no way to sort the things into folders. Like with Ark, you can go and say, buildings, wood, and then you see the wood structures. Where it's just everything's in just one big old list, and it's only alphabetical. So,
after I get leveled up, I got to go find twine, which is always way at the bottom of the list in the inventory menu, and on a console, that's just a pain.
Yeah, at least I can search for it. I can type in TWI, and it shows it to you. Yeah, with console, you can't do that. And then you're going to need twine for the entirety of the game. It's like, even you're building a tier 3 building, and it takes, it's like, hardened steel bars, shaped wood, and twine. It's like, really, you're going to make me go back through and go and farm up the bushes in order to get fiber to make more twine.
I do like that aspect that they kind of keep you grounded with having to go back to basics every time to build stuff, though.
Yeah,
right.
It's just funny that that they didn't have some type of upgraded version, instead of twine, you have to turn the twine into hemp rope or something like that. You have to turn it into something that's a different quality. But but it is what it is. It's just kind of humorous. So that's it.
Oh wow! What way to just drop us? I'm like, what the shit, man? He's just going on a roll and just like, meh, shit.
I mean, I had kind of said that was it until and then you had brought up conversation with Back Daddy Carrot. So.
Oh right,
you totally caught her off guard. That's fantastic.
I know. I was like, what? I'm sitting here painting my nails. I'm like, what the hell?
Well, was I supposed to have a slow fade in my conversation?
Exactly.
That's what I'm here for.
I'm not intro music.
All right, Foe. What do you got for us?
Well, I got a whole bunch of Audible credits built up, and I really don't know what to do with them. I don't have any books that I'm currently like searching for, and I'm in the market for like a good book or a couple of good books. I have 6 credits, and that's the max you're allowed to have before you start losing credits. So I gotta do something with these credits. I gotta pick a couple of books. What I should really do is put my Audible account on hold until I go through all the books I have. What I should really do.
I think that sounds like you gave yourself good advice right there.
Word. But, for right now, though, I still got 6 credits. So that still doesn't solve my issue with what do I want to get? Like, what's good? I was wondering if like anybody had any books they had to like offer, like any suggestions.
I haven't read anything new. Have you ever read any of the Chuck Palahniuk books? He's the author of Fight Club.
No, are those good?
I like them. They definitely have a lot of interesting topics in them. I have a few in hard copy. So Fight Club. You know the story of that one. There was another one that was actually made into a movie with, I want to say it was Sam Rockwell, called, I think that was the one called Survivor, where he's playing basically a sex addict. It's his character. I can't remember all the rest of the story, but that but I want to say that
Giga. Sounds like it's like Giga. Sorry, my Giga.
Let me see, Survivor. Is this the one I'm thinking of? No, it's not Survivor.
I'm a survivor. You're a survivor.
Survivor was a good one. Survivor is the one where basically there was a kind of a Jonestown cult who drank the Kool-Aid, and everybody died except one person, and so he was the survivor of the cult. And so then it's basically about him, and now he's become gone into mainstream culture because he survived the cult type thing. And I can't remember what else all goes in. I can kind of remember the ending, but I want to say he kind of like might start another cult based upon his notoriety, but I might be totally off because it's probably literally been a good 6-7 years since I've read the book. It came out in '99, so I mean it's been a hot minute since I read that one. Choke is the one that was made into the movie, and when that one, part of the whole, I remember part of the reason for the name of the story is the character, the way he kind of makes it through life is he will go into a fancy restaurant, he will forcefully make himself start choking, and then some nice person will come and save his life, give him the Heimlich and save his life. And then he's found that because the weird way that people's minds work, because that person saved his life, they then go on to make sure that he is still doing all right. So every year he's getting checks from the different people who've saved his life.
That's funny.
In order to help him. And so it's interesting. Yeah, it had Sam Rockwell in it, the movie, when it came out in 2008. But yeah, so all of his books, I don't want to say they're odd, but I really liked them.
So they're odd.
Yes.
Well, I'm looking for Audible books. If you guys are on our Discord, jump into the what are you reading and just give me a few suggestions. Throw a few out there, I'll look into them. If it's something I like, maybe I'll pick it up and listen to it.
Tatsu in our Twitch chat said, full render, there's a series of books by F. Paul Wilson called The Adversary Cycle. Start with The Keep. If you do start the series, it's a very good, very chilling. So there's
cool.
six books in the series.
All right, cool. The Keep. I'll look into that too.
Yes. So what else do you got for us?
Well, I've been doing some more of that 40K, the Warhammer 40,000 Slow Grow League. I've been making progress. So most of my models are built, but now we hit the next phase. So now I got to build more models. So as I got everything built, I got to get those, and I try and get them all painted by the end of next month. We'll see if that happens. I doubt it, but we'll see.
How do your models stack up against your opponent's models?
What do you mean?
Like does everybody the quality you're painting like?
I'm a high-end painter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not most armies aren't up to my standards.
Oh, right.
Then you have World of Warcraft. I've been playing a lot of World of Warcraft lately. We've been talking about it all show. That actually stopped me from playing God of War 4 that I've been really wanting to play.
How weird is that, right?
I know, but I will figure though that
blue. It might be blue.
I think it's partially Blue's fault. It's Blue's fault.
Yeah, when you have.
It's my partner in crime. But I will tell you that it is nice playing WoW again. Just some of the things that it's just fun. It's a fun game to get back into. A lot of stuff that I used to love doing in WoW, I'm actually doing it again. The only thing
the auction house.
Yeah, I've been ex Blue. I'm like always.
He is like an auction house whore right now.
Yeah, I'm always in there. Whenever I get stuff, I'm always in there selling it. Pretty much. When I log in.
Be right back.
When I log in, I'm in the auction house. Like that's where I am. That's where I start my session. That's where I end my session.
And I can't even talk shit because he is making a freaking killing on that.
Yeah, so I have a lot of fun doing that.
Teaching you how he's making a killing.
Yeah, if he asks me, I give him advice.
Do you use that weird TSM add-on or whatever?
No, I don't.
Okay, I didn't know.
Because it's weird. Sometimes it's really helpful. Sometimes it's not. I just check it myself. It's really easy. All you gotta do is hold shift and the item appears in your search bar, and then you just hit search. And you see
I
where
wish I would have asked you that.
See? Aren't you
there you go.
learning things?
I literally just been hovering over the item and then typing it out in the freaking...
No, you just hold shift and click on the item, and boom, it pops up right in the search bar. And you just hit
like him in Warframe 3 months ago making platinum.
Yeah, my son makes a ton of plat in Warframe. So been doing a lot of that World of Warcraft stuff. Been having a real blast with it. Unfortunately, WoW's still not working on my PC. I just uninstalled it. Arc.
Okay,
sorry, Arc.
Wow, I'm like,
I'm sorry. Okay.
We're playing WoW.
My bad.
like,
Unfortunately, Arc isn't working on my PC right now. For some reason, Arc and my PC broke up. They're not talking to one another at the moment, and I'm trying to be the middleman and pulling them back together. I uninstalled it again. I'm going to reinstall it, see what happens, but I found out the problem, and I spoke with somebody who knows computers really well. What happens was when I dropped my PC that time, it was on, so I damaged the hard drive. Because the hard drive was active, it was spinning, and I dropped it, and I messed it up.
Well,
and that's why I can't reset my Windows. If my computer were to freeze up totally, it takes me like a half hour to get back on.
Yeah, that's what you were saying.
Yeah, so my hard drive is done. It's working, but it's not working properly. And DirectX had an update, and that's what's messing up my WoW. And I can't update my DirectX. It won't let me download it. So until I could update my DirectX, I can't play Arc. So what I'm going to do is pretty soon I'm going to buy a solid state drive, and that will circumvent my whole problem.
Hopefully.
So I could use my current hard drive for like storage if I really have to, but I'm going to buy a decent sized solid state drive, and then I'm going to buy an external hard drive to like store things. And that should fix my issue without having to replace the whole motherboard.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because Promo said even with like the external hard drives, those, because they're electronic, have like a life expectancy on them. So that's kind of like, I have one, and that's how I found out. It was like, oh no, that's just like a ticking time bomb. So I don't know. It's good, but if you're using it all the time, a lot.
I don't know. I gotta do something. I don't really feel like replacing my whole entire motherboard right now.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know. He was saying
hard drive?
Yeah, he was saying something that it's easier just to get solid state drives than replacing your whatever it is. If I don't have to replace it, because I'm not the best person to talk to about these things. If I don't get to replace it, because, I do all my computer stuff, but I don't know the names of stuff. I don't really know what the cause is. I just troubleshoot and I look things up as I go. Yeah, I look things up as I go. I talk to people. I try and figure it out. And I messed up my hard drive when I dropped it when it was on. So once I get a solid state drive, I'll be able to dip my... Because I've been missing Ark. It's like weird. It's like when you don't play for a while, you do miss it. You miss getting in there and playing it.
Yeah. I felt like for a while, I'm like... I'm the only person who likes playing Ark. At least Emmetai and Clev and Dr. Ob, we've been rocking out some Ark.
Yeah.
But I also have been side-eyeing, like looking over and being like, I really want to try out Conan with the group. And then I look over and I'm like, I really want to jump back into Warcraft because I did sub again. And I was like, damn it.
You did sub again. What are you doing? Like, you got to get into some... Why'd you sub again? You got to play it.
Because I want to play. At least I have characters that are higher levels. So when you guys get on my level, I really need to get up into
get on my level.
Get on my level. I really need to get back into when you guys hit not Legion, Warlords of Draenor. I need to hook up and we need to get our flying unlocked and all that stuff. So. Because that sucks. You have to do like a bunch of stupid jumping puzzles and shit to get your flying.
That's retarded. I hate that sort of stuff.
And I hate it.
Just let me pay a couple of thousand gold.
I want to suffer with you guys. I want to suffer with you and not alone. So.
I'm like so spoiled. Well, you know what? You no longer need cold weather flying in Northrend anymore.
I do know that. I'll pretend that it's new, but that's not a new thing. I'll pretend.
Well, I'm wondering.
So cute.
I wonder if they changed the warlord thing.
Child.
That goes to show you when the last time I played WoW was. I played during Cataclysm, and during Cataclysm, you still needed cold weather flying to fly in Northrend.
Yeah, for Northrend.
You know what though? They better have refunded that freaking gold to me then.
I don't think they did.
I don't know. I got a whole bunch of gold for no reason.
You still have cold weather flying. You just don't need it.
No, everybody else gets it for free. I had to pay for that shit. You better give me a damn refund. Shit.
I think your horde tune should be goblins. You seem very goblin-y.
Yeah, I think you should sue the goblins.
Yeah, take it.
How's that goblin me? Did I want my hard-earned gold?
Gold. That's you. Like you're just like time is money, friend, and all that weird shit.
Well, here's the thing. I love mounts and I love transmog shit and
time is money.
All that shit's expensive, like when you buy it from the auction house.
Exactly. So hey there. So you're cutting back on a few tabletop games.
Yeah. So since I got back into tabletop games, I kind of went overboard. Like I'm playing Warhammer 40k again. I'm playing Warhammer Underworlds Shadespire. Well, I'm just going to call it for now on Warhammer Underworlds, because apparently Shadespire is the expansion name, is the current set's name. So they just finished out Warhammer Underworld Shadespire, so the next round of sets to come out is going to be called something else. It's going to be called Warhammer Underworld so-and-so, whatever it's going to be called. And then it'll have cards from that theme of whatever the new set's going to be. So I've been, I'm not giving up that. Shadespire Underworlds, that's my main tabletop game right now. I'm loving that game. Going to tournaments, having a great time. And then I'm playing that Samurai card game. Then I was playing Star Wars Destiny. Like, I was just playing too much. It's too much. I don't have time to play all these games. It's like I want to play them all, but I don't got the time.
Right. I think that's what everybody who has family stuff and job and all that, it's hard to juggle all these things.
I'm selling off these Star Wars stuff probably for the most part, because I just don't want to chase rares. And then the Samurai card game, although I love it, the games take a pretty long time, and I like my card games to be like fast-paced. Like that's what I want to play. I want to play card games supposed to be fast-paced. And these games almost take as long as playing a miniatures game. It's kind of... But it's so good. So it's like I'm kind of thinking about maybe cutting back on that a little bit. I don't know. But I know I'm definitely going to drop the Star Wars Destiny. And, yeah, that's about it. So I just got to cut back. I've been dipping into like too many tabletop games. I was like looking at everything when I first got back into it.
Now, did you realize this, or did you have to have an intervention? Did somebody tap you on the shoulder?
No. I realized it because, part of this the Facebook group and the game club and everything, and there's all these events that are happening. And it's like, I want to go to all these events, but I can't. I just can't do it. And like, I was starting to dip my toe into like different miniature games. Blood Bowl's another game that I play. Is that football, the fantasy football game. Yeah. And I'm not going to drop that because Blood Bowl's too fun. And that's a very small game. But I've been, then I was looking at this other miniatures game. I was looking at this other one. And there's like so many good games out there. And when you see people at the club playing with all these cool miniatures, it's like, it looks cool, so you want to like play it. You want to get into it. Yeah. Realistically, you don't got time. You got to pick a couple and just stick to those couple. Because what winds up happening is, you lose track of the meta in the game. So it's like once you play too many games, you can't concentrate and get good at one of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So I got to cut back just a tad. So I dropped a few games, and a couple of games I was gonna get into. I was like, stop. Put the blinders on. Like, I gotta be like a horse that has blinders. So like, just look forward. Like, look forward with the games I have.
Sounds good.
Oh, and then I played some more of that Midgard game, Champions of Midgard, with the fam over the weekend. We had a blast playing that.
Cool. That's
my little guy. I mean, I'm so proud of my 9-year-old. He was just jamming that game. He was like killing trolls, getting meat, making all these choices, and he actually wound up making this huge comeback in like the second half of the game. It was really cool.
That's awesome. That's cool when you can see like your kids or your family or even friends like take on something that you really enjoy. It's neat seeing them also enjoy it, and
especially the young ones really too. Good. Yeah. Absolutely. I was surprised because the game, it's a lot. That game has a lot. And he took it on full bore, and he was like, "No, awesome. I don't want to be on nobody's team." I was like, "No, you because what you do with the young kids, like you could sit on my lap and you could be on my team. You know what I'm saying? You could help Daddy." He's like, "No, I want to be on my team. I don't want to be on your team."
He's like, "I don't need your help."
Exactly.
Yeah, I need to find some time for the family to sit down and play another session of what's that called? Bear. I can't remember what it's called now.
I remember you playing them.
Killer Kittens?
No.
Explosive Bears?
No, I do have those, and it's Bears versus Babies and Exploding Kittens. Oh. It's like not Barrowwind. I can't remember what it's called now. we had talked about it. You were saying that you wanted to play it too. It was the one that was the Kickstarter. I can't remember what it's called now.
Well, it's in our show notes, like probably 2 episodes back.
By the way, and I know I made everybody download it. We never got to play yet.
Gloomhaven.
We got to jump on stream.
We're not playing.
And we got to play. No, and we got to play on our phones. What was it? The Angry Apples or something like that. It's
it's Cards vs. Humanity.
Cards vs. Humanity in mobile form. It's such a fun game to play. It's so funny.
Why don't we do that
and we should all We should all get on and just play it. It's a total blast. You guys will have a great time.
Is that a free download or no?
Yeah, it's a free download, and if you want to, I mean, I did it because it's so cheap. You could literally buy all the cards that they have to offer for like $10.
Well, that's cool.
And not only is it everything they have, but everything they will have. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Like, you buy once, and then you just have everything forever.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, so you get, like... And what that offers you is more fun cards in your decks when you're playing with other people. Like, cool stuff pops up for you. Because when you play the regular set, eventually you start seeing, the same thing a bunch.
Right, yeah.
So this gives you, like, hundreds of new options, which is kind of fun.
Cool. Alrighty, well, I will tear the baton out of your hand and tell you guys that I've still been playing Ark, and I have been playing it on the official. Well, I did get on. Johnny opened up the Amissa map, and we'll probably be talking more about that tomorrow on Rated Ark. But he opened up the Amissa map and he clustered it with Fel servers, so it's pretty neat. And I've only got to make like a house in the desert. And then, because it was like pretty treacherous, where I like loaded in. It's pretty neat because you have like these spawn points that you load into different parts of the map, and each one has a different flavor. So like if you load into one of the cities, I noticed, but I like got irritated that day. Like I loaded it and like I was like stuck in some stupid kingdom and I couldn't get out. So I'm like, well, that's some shit. So I chose a desert spawn point the next time, and it loaded me into like a desert city, and it was pretty cool because I had like already prefab like tents and everything, and so I built outside of there, and then I found this amazing forest with a bunch of red trees, so I started building like a little castle there, and I've just been playing Ark, and
isn't that map fun? Isn't that map pretty
gorgeous.
cool?
I've only got to see those 2 zones though, so but it's only I think like 20% done, right?
Yeah.
It's like for being 20% done, it's pretty amazing. So then we had started our official tribe, made our official stamp on an island server on a fresh server that Wildcard opened. So that's been cool. Just kind of, it's nice to just kind of binge on some TV shows and just work along on like our tribe, like a project, we just kind of check in with each other, tell each other what's going on, because it's hard to catch up with each other. So it's like we're like a tribe of like 4 or 5 active people, but we all play at different times. So it's neat, like seeing like what happened and stuff like that. So that's been fun. And yeah, I've been wanting to play World of Warcraft, so I'll have to get in and tag. You guys can tag me when you're on one of my levels that I needed to finish.
Get on my level.
Get on my level.
Tag, you're it. You're in level.
I haven't bought the new expansion yet that's coming out this summer, but I'm all caught up on Warlords of Draenor and all that jazz, so I have people that can play with you. And I saw, Blue, you were getting a little like, or the Demon Hunters. They are pretty neat.
Yeah, they look really cool. I want to dip into one of those and see how it plays. I haven't done it yet because I'm really focused on the shaman, but
yeah, definitely
it'd be fun to check out.
They are fun. They really are fun. So we took like a break last week from both of our shows that we did. I think like I was in a funk. We were sick. My husband got infected with some random rash. Our kitten passed away. It was my dad who passed away. It was his birthday last week, and that always hits my mom hard. So it was just like you get hit on all sides. Not only are you sick, you have like a stomach flu. Both of your kids are sick, and then you have like your family is just like all falling apart around you. And then like Blue was feeling funky, and it's like him and I were both feeling a funk last week. We're like, yeah, we just can't do this right now. We're like taxed out on all of the things. So
yeah, it was just a lot.
Took like a week off, crawled into a little hole, and played whatever we could play when we had time. So it was kind of weird. That happens, So we crawled out this week, and we're back in our thing. But I caught up on but what I haven't been in Discord because I got so behind on my shows that I was binging on. So I sat there like a vegetable building official arc, like one rock. So it makes it so much better when you get to like binge on TV. So I caught up on the Siren, which is the mermaid show I was talking about. So last I was telling you the mermaid chick, they came to the land because her sister got kidnapped by some government facility. So she went looking for her sister. They ended up finding her sister. Her sister escapes. Her sister is a crazy woman. Like mermaids in the show are like evil bitches, and they like eat people. They can eat you. They're super strong, and the longer they're out of the water, the more they get acclimated to the environment, and then the more they can just like live among you, and you wouldn't even know. So in this show right now, the government is like trying to.
I kind of want to watch that show.
It's really neat. I'm not like it surprised me. I thought it was gonna be stupid because I watched another.
Cloak and Dagger is another show of that same channel, right?
Yeah, Freeform. Yep. Yeah. So,
that like Jack Black Cloak and Dagger?
I'm waiting for Cloak and
Dagger. I don't think
to
so.
come out. It should be releasing its first episode soon.
I think the Cloak and Dagger, they're like based on characters from something else. They're not based on the book.
Based on the Marvel characters.
The Marvel ones, it's not. I'm thinking about the 1980s movie with that kid and the Atari cartridge and all that.
Yeah, it was the kid. I think what was it? I think it was the kid from E.T. and then the father from Major Dad.
Yeah.
Or no, not from Major Dad. Dabney Coleman's the guy from 9 to 5. But Dabney Coleman's the father. Yeah, I'm pulling out all the old TV movie references.
Yeah,
Don't
I
take
Well, that's a
yourself.
good one, man. That's a good one, though. That's a good movie.
Even
would-
one in Freeform looks good because it looks like they're very yin and yang. Like together, they can really do some damage against each other. I guess, like in this.
Yeah, so
way.
if I remember the powers at least from the comics is Cloak. He basically has like access to like a shadow realm type thing, and she generates light,
Yes.
and like she can shoot out like light daggers and stuff like that.
I am Googling it. No, yeah. Teenagers Tyrone and Tandy are awakened to newly acquired superpowers, which are mysteriously linked to one another. The first episode comes out June 7th, so yes, it's coming soon.
Okay. Yeah, she has the
exciting.
ability to emit light daggers, and he has
It
the
looks
ability to engulf
good.
others in darkness and transport them through the dark force dimension.
Yeah, it looks good. So, so Siren is good so far. So now it's kind of like there's the good sister who realizes that the humans have been helping her to find the sister that was kidnapped by the government. She knows that these group of humans are good. Well, the sister that was kidnapped by the government thinks humans suck because they do, the ones that she came in contact with. So
Oh, they
it's like
kidnapped
now-
her.
Yeah, so it's now like a war between the sisters. One sister believes in the humans, the other sister does not trust the humans. So the sister that was kidnapped, she went out to the ocean, brought back a bunch of crazy mofos to like back her up, and there's like some shit is about to go down. So now it's very interesting. So, and it's kind of neat because you start to find out different stuff that's going on in the town. There are some townspeople that used to be mermaids. I won't tell you who, but there's some townspeople that back in the day used to be mermaids, but they've spent so much time out of the water that they just became part of the town and nobody even knows any different. So they kind of know how these people, these creatures feel coming out and how they don't really belong here. They belong with their butts back in, but the government was starving them. That's what it was, is they were doing mass fishing, starving them, trying to force them out of the ocean so they can start, because they're figuring out that something inside of the mermaids makes it like if they take some of their DNA and inject it into humans with like disabilities and stuff, that they are being healed. So they want to market that. So they want to kind of like make mermaid farms and farm them for their special medicinal qualities, which is disgusting, but it's what it is. It is what it is. So the story is taking a different turn, and it's a good show. So I caught up on that, and The Blind Spot has always been one of my favorites. The Chick in the Bag that was dropped in New York, because you know that happens, right? Everything where you live, I just think it's whatever TV tells me. You just randomly get people dropping it. Tattooed bags.
Oh yeah, and she's all tattoos, and like the tattoos are kind of like a map.
Yes, now it's like the second round. She was re-kidnapped by a crazy brother of hers, re-tattooed, and then re-dropped back in. And that has been like this whole next thing, because he's just like a little... So that show's always been one of my favorites, and The Blacklist has always been one of my favorites. So that's been good. And I did pick up, I heard a lot of people talking about the new Lost in Space on Netflix. Have you guys
It's so
checked that
good.
out? I've only watched the first episode, but it got me. I'm like, yeah, I think I could do this.
I haven't watched it yet, but all my buddies at work have, and they've said nothing but good.
It's irritating to me a little bit, but it's still good.
Like, what part is irritating?
Well, I don't want to give anything away if you want to episode 1.
So it's something that's like, more? Or like
They introduce a character that's just, you just hate that character's there.
Okay. Because I was seeing articles where like people were, there was like, apparently robots are sexy. Like people were getting all hot over some weird robot. And if it's the robot that's like in the very first episode, I'm like, you guys are pretty messed up in the head to like find anything sexually appealing about this robot.
Is it when they bring in Joey Tribbiani?
I don't know. I've only watched the first episode, but that's all I know.
No, I'm making reference to the movie
Oh, sorry.
from the 90s.
It's lost on me.
Lost in Space.
Man in Twitch said, been watching old episodes of Roseanne. I love all the old and the new episodes so far of Roseanne. I've watched all those, and I'm glad that they started Roseanne not with Dan dead, because that pissed me off.
So which is your favorite Becky?
I like the original Becky. I don't like the one Becky that they brought in, and I don't even
the
like
best friend.
This new part.
The one who's now the best friend.
Well,
or
I
whatever.
don't think they're best friends right now
Or
because
something.
she's the chick that she was supposed to carry her baby, and then she couldn't, so she backed out and left. Like, they haven't been friends, so I don't know how that chick's gonna come back into play because they kind of like killed the storyline of her being her surrogate. Is that what you're talking about?
What?
I was like, what?
I think she's talking to you because I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it either.
What the hell are you talking about then? If you don't even,
Well, I've heard about it.
No, they're not best friends right now. So,
Yeah.
the old Becky is kind of, back, like she's very much the way she always would be. And Mark died, her husband, so she's still kind of in that depressive mode. Like she's still kind of in regret. She's regressing. She's acting very teenagery. And then the new Becky played this chick who really wanted a baby, and she really so she met up with the old Becky, not knowing, and then. Well, obviously, so that's how they incorporated the new Becky and the old Becky. Well, then all of a sudden, the old Becky lied to her and told her that she was younger than she was. And so when she went to go have her eggs tested to be her surrogate, they said, your eggs are not acting their age. so then
Becky.
the new Becky was like, oh, well, then I can't waste my time with you if your eggs are old. Peace out. And then that's the last I've seen of the new Becky. Was like, she was very snobby and rich and couldn't have a baby and wanted to pay the old Becky to have the baby. And Roseanne and Dan were like pissed. They're like, nobody's going to be having our baby and keeping it, So, yeah. So, and Oh Man said his wife recommended 13 Reasons, something on Netflix. I've been watching from Beyond the Blind.
That's
Seems interesting.
a good show.
Is it?
Did season 2 come out or is it coming out?
It's out and it's decent. It's a good show. It's a good show. It's a drama,
And I don't like drama. I like action or comedy.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a
I'm not
drama
crying
and it's rapey.
stuff. It's rapey?
Yeah.
I'll
So
stick with my comedy action because I'm not about rapey and crying. So
yeah, that's what it basically it is.
Who wants to sit down and be like, "Oh, I had such a bad day. Oh, let's stretch out."
That's kind of what it is. It's like
watch some crying ass.
watch
rapey
this
shit.
young girl
Nobody
who
said
basically committed suicide because she was raped, and
God.
it's crazy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
not nice.
But it's a
my
well
son,
done show, and it's a
Yeah.
well done drama if you are into that.
And,
so.
and if you are craving some crybaby, like crying rapey shit, apparently. But
Yeah.
if you're not, then you might want to check out this other show that I watched.
But know what else I've been watching lately is Black Lightning.
I've never even heard of that.
It's a superhero show that's part of the CW superhero universe.
Also part of the Arrowverse.
So
let
me Google this.
CW DC universe, the
CW?
Arrow.
You're watching a CW show? Aw.
No, I'm watching on
CW
Netflix.
is Arrow and Flash.
It still
Yeah,
counts.
Arrow,
And-
Flash.
Aw.
I'm watching it on Netflix. It's Black Lightning. This is dark like Arrow.
Okay.
It's pretty violent,
Oh,
pretty
wow,
good.
It's pretty new. It came out in 2018, April 17th.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think season 2 is not even out yet.
Yeah, it's a good
no
show.
shit. Wow,
James Remar's in it.
how has this gone past my radar? Because I watched the 100 on the CW. This
Wow.
is about to add. What the hell?
There you go. Add it because it's good. I'm up to like episode, I don't know, like 4 or 5. It's good so far. I like it a lot.
Let me see.
I'll have to watch
Let's
this.
see what we can
Also,
get.
I think I have a season of Flash to catch up on.
Me too. I'm behind in Flash.
I
I'm
heard
behind
they're
in
bringing
Arrow.
Charmed back too. Did you guys hear
And
that?
Yeah, they're revamping it, putting
That's
in
so
different
charming.
people.
Yeah, it's so charming. That's not going to be on the CW too. I just saw it when I was trying to link the show, and it has Charmed on there. Oh, Sundays it's coming out this fall.
Oh, it's different people though?
Yeah. this is
Yeah, it's
interesting.
like a younger generation.
Well, that's not bad, I guess.
I don't like that.
I
No,
just
want.
hope the older people are in there because, I mean, they were hot.
Hot.
I can't believe I've never even freaking heard of this Black Lightning. What the hell?
I remember hearing about it, but I didn't realize it was part of the Arrowverse.
Me either. No clue.
Because, like I've been saying for a while, that DC should stick to their small screen stuff, because they've done a great job, I thought, with Arrow and Flash and
Yeah.
Legends of Tomorrow grew on me. Like when I first started watching, I didn't like it so much, but then I
I gotta
started liking
catch
it.
up on Legends of Tomorrow then. I don't like that dynasty
And Supergirl.
shit that they have on.
So does this mean all of the heroes from Black Lightning that are like the background characters will make their way into Legends of Tomorrow, because that's basically what Legends of Tomorrow is. It's all of the mediocre chaff characters that from like the other shows, all in this show. It's like characters they wanted to keep current, but their story was finished in like the main shows. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, in a way, I mean, it was almost like an Avengers type thing. I mean, you have your Iron Man with Atom. You have, Firestar is kind of like a Vision. Black Canary is sort of like Black Widow. You got your Fire guy. You have your Ice guy. So it was. Like I said, when I first watching, I was like, I don't like it too much. But then I had to watch it because there was one of the crossovers between like Arrow and Supergirl and Flash and
those
Legends Tomorrow.
Get you. They do that on purpose.
The
of
one
course they do.
Where the aliens
and all of the universe.
And so I was like, well, crap! Now I got to watch everything to catch up, so I can
exactly.
I can get to the big crossover.
That's when I stopped watching because I'm like, I don't like people forcing me to do stuff, and I'm like, meh. You're not gonna make me watch 2 other shows to keep up with this shit.
But then I liked it. So
I didn't even give him a chance to know.
Yeah. I just don't watch. I watch them all except for Supergirl.
Also, Supergirl, I thought was really good.
She's just a boring character to me.
I would have thought the same thing because
girl would have been a boring
because I don't particularly like Superman. Because
what?
I think they.
How can you not like Superman?
Because he's invincible.
I'm not gonna have this nerd out with you right now.
because he's too powerful and he's just the goody two shoes. There was never really any. I want to say drama with
the first guy. Like this is like they didn't really get too deep.
But most his character was usually always 2-dimensional. It was I'm gonna do good for goodness sake. I'm never gonna do anything bad. Nobody can hurt me because I'm super powerful. Unless they get a hold of this kryptonite thing.
The Flash.
Everybody gets a hold of it. Like this kryptonite. Where is it? Can you just buy that like the Dollar Tree? Because all these bad guys get a hold of it.
But with Supergirl, I liked it because. The character came in and she seemed to like it was neat the way it was brought in because she's the older cousin of Superman of Kal-El, but she didn't arrive to Earth until like 15-20 years later, because she basically it starts off where Kal-El gets sent off in his pod and she gets sent off right behind him, because her mom and his mom were sisters. And so she's like, you need to go watch, you need to go and take care of him, take care of Cal. And then when they're going off, then the planet explodes and it knocks her craft off target and she gets sent out to the Phantom Realm, which, if you remember with Superman 2, that's the place where Zod and all of them got sent to. So her pod's over there for a number of years. Meanwhile, Cal makes it and hits Earth. And so now he's grown up in Earth and she's still in suspended animation. And in this, this basically this realm where kind of time is wonky, and then eventually, her ship comes out, and then goes to Earth, and now she lands, and now, Superman's grown up, and he's Superman, and she gets there, and she's like, and he realizes she comes there, and he meets her, and she's like, well, I was supposed to kind of take care of you, but you're older than me now, and you're kind of taking care of things, so she like basically just kind of disappears into mediocrity type thing. She doesn't want to accept her powers or anything. She just wants to be normal, and she does that as she's growing up. But then, in the events of the first episode, she's forced to reveal herself and her powers in order to save her foster sister. And then then she starts to embrace being Supergirl. But like I said, I really like the show. It's got the brighter tone to it, like Flash.
Yeah, it really does.
As opposed to the dark tone like Arrow. But so it was a nice show, and I need to catch up on that one too, though. And it brings in Martian Manhunter, which he's a character that doesn't get enough screen time.
Constantine too.
Anything.
Tatsu in chat, he agrees with you, Fo. He says Superman is super boring. I can only be damaged by stupid green crystals and magic. And then he said, in regards to Supergirl, she wasn't cool enough to go make her own Fortress of Solitude. That's all. One cool thing about Superman. Boom. That's what he said.
Well, I'm trying to remember in one of the
opinions there, Tatsu.
In one of the Superman stories, he didn't even have to make anything. He just put the crystal in the ground and it made itself. I can't remember if that was the movies or what, but I don't remember him having to actually make it. But that's neither here nor there.
Superman was not good with crafts.
He did not train in engineering or
No, he did not.
ice sculpting.
He's lame.
So, Tatsu said he is a Batman. I'm with you. If you had to compare like Superman and Batman, I jump over to Batman. That 100%.
Oh, Gotham is another good show.
100%.
Yeah, I need to catch up on Gotham
And
too.
Gotham is starting to get to the point where Batman's getting older.
My only complaint with Gotham though was the fact that they're introducing all these villains that were Batman's villains, but yet Bruce Wayne is still a young teenager, and so it's like are we supposed to believe that these villains have been destroying the city for 10 years before Batman shows up?
Why not?
Yes, that's why they need Batman. That's why the city becomes so corrupt.
Exactly. Jeez. How did you not know this?
Get with it.
No, I know that's what they're saying in it, but I don't agree
This
with
is
it.
my third time trying to segue to my last show.
Fine. What's your last show? Krypton?
My last show. No, it is entirely not even related to what we're talking about.
Yes, Krypton Superman.
Yeah, no, I have been watching that though, but I think they're doing that weird like it's summertime, and we're like totally not going to record new videos. So I'm like, So I keep checking back. I'm like, not another one, not another new one. So, it's this one on Netflix. Now it has, what was her? Carol Burnett in it. So, like Cyber Judge.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, it's cute. Cyber Judge is always talking about, Mac Daddy Carrot says, you can talk. You can interrupt us. We are not, fragile people. Go ahead. Bust right
Oh,
now.
no, I'm just here.
Okay. Well, we're glad that you got to make it with us. So, like Cyber Judge is always talking about like trying to find like a family friendly show that he can watch at work or whatever on the projector or something during lunch and stuff. This is definitely something that I believe he can do. It's on Netflix and it's called A Little Help with Carol Burnett, and it's cute because obviously whenever you throw kids in and they say some crazy stuff, and they bring in like celebrities and like and they say, hey, this celebrity has a problem, what's your guys' advice? And then there's like 5 kids and each kid gives them what they think they would do, and it's interesting seeing like from a kid's perspective and their spunky little personalities and stuff. So I think this show would be family friendly and it should be something that you could watch at work, like what Cyber Judge is always talking about, like trying to something that he can project and not offend and not have like crazy stuff going down. So this was a cute show. They had I think it was Gwyneth Paltrow on the second one. One of the ones. Yeah, they start out I think with Gwyneth Paltrow and then they just go on from different people with different problems, a couple of them an episode, so it's neat and they were funny. And like when it was so nuts, like for Mother's Day, like I don't know if you guys go to church, but I do, and when I went to church they want you to send all of your kids up front so they can say something amazing, something they love about their mom, and instantly I'm like, oh my god, like what are my kids gonna say? Like they put a microphone up to him, I'm like, oh my god, what is my daughter gonna say? What is she gonna say? Because you never know. The most bizarre thing from like 5 days ago that you don't even remember. That's just what they'll share. That's just what they'll share. So it's cute. Little kids keep you on your toes. This is a cute show. So I think this would be family friendly and safe to watch. So you guys haven't watched this one yet, right?
No. But in following your link, it reminds me that Arrested Development Season 5 comes out next week.
You're so crazy.
Well, because on the link, it talks about one of the guests is Tony Hale, who's one of the characters from Arrested Development. And then I had to look up when Season 5 comes out because I knew it was coming out soon. And it comes out on the 29th for the first half of Season 5. So
yeah,
I'm going to have to watch that one, too.
Lots of good stuff. So I think that's all I have.
I'm going to go see Deadpool tomorrow.
Are you?
Yep.
Lucky dog. What about you, Mac Daddy? I know you came in late, but do you have anything you want to share with everyone?
No, I've just been catching up on Black Mirror since, you guys were talking about it.
I was going to
wants us to
notice
really,
that.
pick an episode and we can all watch it again and, talk about it. Do you guys have an episode or something you want us to watch?
I'll choose one that's faux ones too, but I like them all. But I'll choose one that's a good one to watch.
Let us know by next week so we can
Black
watch
Mirror.
it.
Oh, Black Mirror, more Black Mirror.
And it was your idea. He's like, oh, more Black Mirror, more Black Mirror. It was totally his idea to make us do that.
No, I've just been watching that and then
says-
playing H1Z1. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Conan a little bit. Yeah.
On console? Do they have that on console? Yeah, they have that.
Yeah, it just came out on PS4.
Ooh. So are you playing with any of the people in the gaming group, or are you guys playing? Are you playing with your friends, or?
Old man's too stingy to come play with me.
Oh man, what is that? What's up with that, old man? Jeez.
No, I gotta quit playing with my friends because we just get on in teams of 2 and kill everybody else on our team, and yeah, it's not good.
Just goof off and have fun picking on each other.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Yep. That's right.
No,
He
I've been
says,
having
"I'll get
fun
on
just
some
kind of.
H1Z1 in a bit, bro.
Yeah. No, I usually just get on and I'll get on myself and just jump into teams of 5, and that's been kind of fun. There's a lot of interesting people I've come across that are really psyched for the game and keep comparing it to Fortnite all the time.
Really? Okay. Well, you've played both of those, right? Have you played Fortnite? Yeah. So do you feel like there's a comparison?
To me, no. I mean, Fortnite's, a lot of people always say Fortnite's for people that can't shoot a gun, so they got to build a wall.
Oh, okay. And that's where the PUBG Fortnite battle is. That's what I always hear. Yeah.
H1Z1 is, it's what PUBG was based off of. The guy who did PUBG, he was the main input on H1Z1 when it started coming out. So that's where they got their ground from, and that's more of a boots on the ground type shooter.
Okay. Tatsu says even though H1Z1 was the progenitor for the modern day battle royales.
Yeah.
That's what Tatsu says.
The biggest kick I get out of is when you jump into the random parties on there, everybody keeps asking, when do the zombies show up?
When do they show up?
They don't. Well, they originally, when it first came out, they did have zombies in the Battle Royal, and they took that out, and then nobody, like a lot of people didn't realize that they actually split into 2 separate games with Just Survive and H1Z1, and H1Z1 is strictly Battle Royal now.
Oh, okay. Yep. That's kind of like what Ark was doing with Survive the Ark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's another one I wish they'd bring back is Survival of the Fittest that they had for Ark.
Yep. Yeah, the Survival.
Yeah, I like that. That was a lot of fun. I had fun playing that.
Everybody on console was pissed about that too, because that was supposed to be the launch game for Ark, and then they just completely scrapped it.
It's weird that they don't revive it. It really is weird.
Yeah.
Especially now that everything's switching to Battle Royale, this would be the time to bring it back.
Yeah, this would be the time to poof it up. But no, they're doing Twitch streams every 2 weeks, so apparently that's the hype train. They really should get on the
So did anybody watch this one today?
I did. I really
was
did.
Was it as well informed and
better? I'll talk about it more tomorrow, I'm sure.
Okay.
But I do feel like it makes me wonder. I'm like, because I feel like they had a little bit more direction. I feel that Jen was a little bit more amped. Kudakor still like very like no motion. Like there's none. They need a driver. They do.
And oh man, just responding to you, they did keep crafting in H1Z1. That's in the Just Survive game mode now that you can't get on console.
Yeah, petition for Survival of the Fittest on console. Hey, petition for it anywhere, really. But all right, I think we're moving it. Yeah, that's what happens when we don't record for like a week. We have a lot to say when we do record.
Especially if I'm on.
No, you're not the only talkie.
Word.
Oh, Cricket, I didn't even hear you talking. What do you mean?
I know.
What?
I was quiet.
Wait, I didn't even know you're still here.
Solo comes out this weekend.
What's that?
Solo comes out this weekend, too.
Ooh.
Might try to see that.
What one?
I might try to see that as well.
Well, let us know. You get all the cool stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's not for everybody.
It was a mod before it was.
I mean, Solo is going to be a worldwide release. It's Star Wars.
Yeah, it's not like I'm getting Solo. Yeah, it's only being released in here.
No, I mean, because I'm pretty much grounded where I'm at. Like, yeah, I'm pretty much. Unless I have a babysitter and we're down one vehicle, my ass ain't going anywhere. So I will live vicariously through you, Crickets.
I will try to see it, but we'll see.
God, I was lucky. We just had our 7-month anniversary. Because I shacked up for 10 years before we got married. So it feels like 17 years, but it's our 7-year anniversary was this weekend. And man, it was like a hell of a time just getting babysitter, getting someone to watch the kids so we can go out, So that was a thing.
Oh, I do know.
So,
But I'm lucky because I have older boys that watch the games.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, my kids are old enough now that it's like, okay, we're going out. Do you have a phone?
Yeah, not me. I'm like, oh, I can't. I barely like my list to trust. I trust people with my littles are so teeny tiny, not very big at all. Everybody's guilty until proven innocent in this mama's mind. But I do have a would you rather. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but here's our thing.
Are you calling Chuck Norris a liar?
Would you rather?
Oh, it's Dinger.
Oh wow.
Would you rather?
Only one. Oh my god.
Oh my god, that would be so weird.
No, let's not go there.
Why did I ask this?
Oh my goodness, no.
Would you rather?
Would you rather eat a meal of cow tongue or octopus? We're gonna start with the top. Cricket. You're
Is
the
it-
top.
Is it raw octopus or is it like calamari
meal.
type?
Cow tongue or
Well,
octopus?
calamari isn't that squid?
Well, that's
That is
squid, but
squid.
that's what I'm saying. Is it prepared like calamari? Well, I will say cow tongue because I've actually had cow tongue before, and so I will go with
So
cow tongue.
you're gonna go to cow tongue. What are you gonna do, Mr. Foe?
Okay, so octopus or cow tongue? Well, what I don't like about cow tongue
A meal, not just a
is
bite. It's a meal.
I don't like something that's gonna taste me back as I'm eating it.
Yeah, but well, if it's an
Yummy.
if it's an octopus, the way that they serve it overseas, it's still alive and it's attacking you on your way down.
I'll just dribble a little salt on it so it twitches on you.
Which, if you've ever seen the original Old Boy movie,
Yeah, but who said it's gonna be like how they do it overseas? I was thinking octopus. I'm thinking like
if
octopus
it's-
salad. Like I get like an antipasta salad with
she didn't
octopus.
say
in it.
octopus salad. She said
Nope,
octopus.
it's an octopus meal. It's a meal of octopus and only octopus or cow tongue. A meal.
I'm torn because either way it's disgusting.
I know, right? Definitely a damned if you do.
Octopus is alive. I guess I'll go with the cow tongue licking me back as I eat it. But I'm not gonna go with. I'll go with the octopus if it was like like a non-living octopus. Probably go with the octopus. I like
If we
octopus.
could mod it, can we cook and prepare either option? It's just a meal, so
If I
feel
could
like you
cook it,
could.
yeah, then I'll do octopus then. If I could prepare it myself, I'm gonna cut it up, put it into like an antipasta salad, and go to town.
Oh man, said octopus. I want a full-grown, whole tentacle kebabbed with some sriracha. Oh,
Oof.
I know. I'm like, ugh.
What I like about that, it has little suction cups to hold the flavor. You know.
Yucky. It's like little
To
built-in
hold the
dishes.
flavor. I
Little
love it.
saucers, like in the yuck. All right, Big Blue, what's your choice?
So I have issues with textures.
You do, man.
I don't know. I think I like calamari, breaded calamari, but yeah, I'm gonna have to go with octopus because I could not handle the
Both-
taste buds of a cow. It's
both-
like fucking sandpaper.
Both textures
But if
are
you're
just
going to
awful.
prepare it, a cow tongue is just like a roast if you cook it.
If you're modding it.
Believe that, Blue.
No, I can't.
My
I would just imagine it, and it would be.
Some tongue.
What is it? Lingua? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, it's lingua. I found out
Would-
the hard way
would-
when I
would-
went over to visit his grandma, and she's like, "Would you like?" She had like tortillas
You know what?
for breakfast, and it had, "Oh, it's just tortilla and lengua." And I'm like, "What's that?"
Now that I think about it, I'm
was
gonna
that-
go with cow tongue because I work with a bunch of Hispanic guys, and we went to this place called Taco Boom. And he's like, "All right, what I want you to do,
Make your boom go.
I want you to order a thing of street tacos with lingua in it." And he didn't tell me what it was, and I ordered it, and I actually ate it, and did not even realize it until we got back to work. He's like, "Yeah, dude, you totally ate cow tongue." I'm like, "I fucking hate you right now."
Yeah, because actually the place that I go to for my tacos around here, it's a stand. Basically it's a stand in the back of a Mexican tienda, and they have lengua as one of the tacos you can get.
I used to work for this lighting place. I used to put together like chandeliers, and we're going out to hang a chandelier in this one person's house, and a friend of mine's like, "Listen, there's this little Italian place in like downtown, and you have to try it out. It's like a hidden gem and you have to try it out. So I was like, all right, sounds good. I go for some like good Italian food during lunch. But he's like, you have to get the sandwich that I want you to try. And I was like, all right, cool. So we go, and no joke, this place is like, it's like a house. It's like this couple's house that they like cut their own window out on the side of their house. And they had tables outside, like in their yard of like a house.
Lord.
But it was legit. Like a lot of people were saying this place is like crazy. So I'm looking over and he's like, give him this sandwich, right? I was looking over and I was like, what is that? Like there was some things over there that were like questionable. So I spoke to a lady. I'm like, oh, what do you got there? She's like, oh, this is and she tells me like the Italian name for it, which I forget now. But basically, he was trying to get me to eat a cow stomach sandwich.
Ugh. What? Out of his kitchen with a hole through the wall of his house?
No, but it wasn't. I'm making it sound worse than it was. It was like a professional. Like it wasn't a store. They turned like their house into like a restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't done like they didn't like take an axe and just like hack a sloppy hole in the side of the wall. No, they had it was like cut by a professional and like there was a window and glass and everything looked clean.
Any better?
And everything looked clean and it was nice, but it was like a real old Italian couple that probably has like years and generations of like good cooking.
You hear about people like that though in the news who are serving humans.
Well, yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Of course, they're serving.
You always hear about that? I've never.
Serving humans. Who else are going to be their customers?
The wrong news outlets.
Anyway.
I shall Google.
Anyway, so I ask her, I'm like, what is that? What is he trying to make me eat? Oh, it's cow stomach. It's cow stomach. They had an Italian name for it. I forgot the name, but basically she explained to me it's cow stomach. I told him, I'm not eating that. It's not happening. It's like, come on, man. You said you would try it. I'm like, I'm not going to eat that. Okay, and that's not happening. It's like they took the cow stomach, which was prepared in a certain way. Then they put some ricotta cheese on it, and they put it on these really nice rolls. And I just couldn't eat it, so I was like, I'll take the chicken, the cutlet parmesan. That looked really good. So, by the way, I will say this food was some of the best. That chicken palm was some of the best chicken palm I ever had, ever. Like it was really good. And he talked to me into taking a bite of the sandwich, and it was just like, it was like the texture. It's like I bit into it, and it was like soft and a little chewy. Like it didn't like melt in your mouth like normal food. You had you had to like really chew it. It was like kind of like a rubbery feel. I couldn't.
So I've had hog maw.
Hog ball.
Oh, and the bite I took.
Like hog testicles.
And the bite I took, which made it worse, was I caught it on like a tube, and like my tongue like went into like the tube.
Tube, just the word tube makes you fun of it. Don't say tube.
And my tongue like went into like the orifice of whatever it was. I couldn't.
I don't even like when I'm pulling apart a chicken and I see the big vein thing. Ugh.
Yeah, that like tubey vein. I don't like it.
Tube with my tongue.
I know. I couldn't. I just couldn't. I was just not happy with the whole situation.
But no, not hog ball.
Hog maw.
Hog maw.
What is hog maw?
MAW. It's pig.
It sounds
stomach.
Gross.
It's pig stomach filled with potatoes and sausage.
Oh, I was
and
correct.
Onions.
It is
then,
gross.
Hell, dude.
So,
is that some of your Boy Scout shit that you like cook out the woods? Like
no,
who does that?
Pennsylvania Dutch.
No, thank God I'm Michigan Dutch.
I'm from Southern Pennsylvania. It's Pennsylvania. It's a Pennsylvania Dutch thing. But it actually
so nasty.
It wasn't bad.
It was 89 cents a pound. Oh, hey, honey, I got some hog maw.
I'm not feeling it.
So
is the stomach of a pig? More specifically, is the exterior muscle like?
Because essentially, I mean, when they served it, they had cut the lining, and so it was basically it was potatoes and sausage.
Oh, so it's like a pouch.
Yeah, that's how it's prepared. It's kind of like it's prepared like haggis. Yeah, it's prepared like haggis, where it's stuffed with sausage and potatoes, and then I think it's boiled.
Yeah.
And then they bring it out, and so it's mostly potatoes and sausage, and then there's some of the lining, and the lining's a little chewy, but it's basically.
They give it to you like? Do they give it to you like where you hold on to like the sack, and then you just like you put your hand into the sack?
No, the place that I had it was basically kind of like a Knights of Columbus type club thing. They have it every year, and they had just huge amounts of it prepared, and so they would just serve you some of it on a plate, where they would already have opened it and have it chopped up, and then with gravy and stuff too. And so it was like, I was a little like, really, do I want to have this? But my father and my brother have been eating it for years. I was like, I'll try it. The worst that I do is I spit it out. I mean, and it was.
Did you
it
like
was
it?
good. I did like it. I want to get back there, but they only do it once a year, and I'm never back up in town when they do it. Unfortunately.
Oh shucks.
I don't like foods that involve the word tube, sack,
or lining,
or pouch, or lining, exactly.
or mucus lining,
or chewy lining.
I am not like my brain imploded and then imploded again and then imploded again. Yeah,
The word chewy doesn't really.
Lettuce.
If you say chewy,
stomach.
If you say chewy, it better be candy.
Oh, yuck! So nasty. So to further educate you, I have put that link into Twitch chat, and it is to tell you about the Russian couple who was a cannibal couple who tried to sell human meat pies to restaurants. And this was in September 27th of 2017, so the end of last year.
Where was it? Where was it?
The fuck?
It comes out from New York Daily News.
Russian couple.
Yeah, Russian couple who confessed to killing and eating at least 30 people turned soldiers into unknowing cannibals and tried to sell human meat pies to local restaurants, according to authorities. Dmitry Bakshiv and wife Natalia.
I actually remember that. I remember reading that.
Given frozen meat pieces to
Well, it was back in the
personnel at a military
30s.
academy based near their home in Krasnodar. And the killer couple also tried to get local restaurants to sample their fare. So it does happen.
I know it does.
So
What if you didn't know? What if you were eating something you thought was really
I
good,
feel like I would know because I pretty much only eat poultry.
and then someone's
So,
like,
even though
"Yo,
they say
that was a
everything always
toe."
tastes like chicken. I don't feel that it always tastes like chicken.
They were like, "That was a human toe you just ate. That wasn't a
hate when
nugget."
people say, you should try this, it tastes like chicken. I'm like, then why don't I just eat chicken? Why do I want to eat some frog to taste like chicken? Why won't I just eat chicken? Like, I don't eat chicken to feel like I'm eating frog, so why would I eat frog to feel like I'm eating chicken? It's so gross. Blech. So gross. So, hey,
Although, talking about
did you
chicken,
ever
know
give
what
us an
grosses
answer,
me
or
out?
did we, skip over you?
I said cat tongue because I
Cat
accidentally ate it that one
What
time.
about you,
Ew.
Mac Daddy? What did you decide?
If it's got to be raw, I'd go with octopus. Prepared, probably cow tongue.
I feel like I'm almost the same as your answer, because I feel like if we ate raw cow tongue, it'd be like that weird, thick, gooey, chewy.
It would be like that gum with the juicy middle.
That's just
Well, see, when you
wrong.
said a meal
It's
of,
like Gushers.
Yeah,
so
like
a meal of,
gushers.
I'm just assuming that it's the way that you would prepare a meal of beef tongue or a meal of octopus, which would be generally raw octopus and like fried or grilled beef tongue.
I don't know. I feel like they boil tongue more than they do anything.
Maybe it's boiled. The time I had, I can't remember. I was young.
What if it's pickled?
I know, every time I've made it, I cook it literally like a roast. You de-skin it and just cook it basically like you would a roast.
You're willingly making this.
Oh yeah,
It's a thing.
When I grew up, my grandparents raised cattle, and they were like old style, use
Okay.
everything you can type deal. So
Yeah,
I grew
yeah.
up eating it, and
Yeah. So you have experience. So I think
Yeah.
I'm going to take Mac Daddy's route. If we could.
When I come to your house, dude, I'm taking the ribs. You could have the tongue part. I'm taking ribs.
I will give you the heart.
Ew, yucky.
I don't want the heart either.
No, see,
I
my husband,
actually
he's
tried
a
the
deer
heart for the
hunter,
first
and
time last year
He thinks eating
of-
the deer heart is like
of turkey.
amazing.
I actually tried the turkey heart for the
love
first
the
time last
heart
year.
of anything. The
Do you
meat
see?
on it is
Yeah,
so
that's-
rich and just
That's
I
what
love the taste of
hear.
it.
It's really good. And is it iron or something? Like there's a bunch of
Yep.
health benefits supposedly with eating hearts that I will never do in my life. But yeah, it's crazy. I feel like the octopus raw would just slide down your throat, and I feel like I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that part because I feel like I could just easy come, easy go, just go in and get out
Until a suction cup gets stuck to the back of your throat.
Well, see, when I eat it raw, I usually I have it at a sushi place, and they have it prepared thinly sliced with lemon slices and stuff like that. Tastes really good.
So,
Yeah, it's delicious. I like octopus. I said that already.
clip that I put up there on the Twitch chat with from Old Boy, where he just picks it up while it's still squirming around and just chomps into it.
Nasty.
I don't think I could go that far.
Ugh, so nasty.
Its ink pouch like explodes in your mouth.
But so I also just linked a 1999 movie called Ravenous. If you haven't seen that one, I like it. I've seen it a few times. It's got Guy Pearce, Jeffrey Jones, David Arquette, Robert Carlyle, which you'd probably recognize all those actors that I mentioned. And essentially, it's about what's it called? An expansionist era town, or not town, fort, and some happenings going on there. But it's a good movie. Guy Pearce was the main actor in The Time Machine and Count of Monte Cristo. Well, the secondary actor in Count of Monte Cristo, and Robert Carlyle was in the Full Monty, and I forget what else he was in.
You guys ever accidentally eat a bug?
Sure.
Yeah, I have. I know that I have, and I know that I probably... Like, I feel like there's, like, you willingly, accidentally, like, if you're drunk enough and, like, a gnat flies into something and you're, like, drinking the last bit and you may have drank him, I feel like I've done that, but...
I ate an earthworm for $10 to $20
You're just
when I was drunk.
I feel... Yuck. I've done the whole, like, riding your bike down a big hill and you're like, ah! And, like, a bug, like, flies into your throat kind of thing when you're a kid.
I haven't done that.
Because I don't know if you've lived out where I live.
But one time,
grasshoppers.
I was getting coffee at this place, and it was my brother and I. We were getting coffee, and I had the coffee, right? So I get the coffee, I'm drinking, I'm liking it, whatever. It's freaking coffee. So I feel something hit my teeth, like when I'm getting to the end of my coffee. Like, what the fuck is that in my mouth? Like, it hit my teeth, it was in my mouth. I spit it out, and it was a fucking cockroach that was in my coffee.
In your coffee?
Ooh.
Get there.
It was probably chilling in the cup.
That's
Chilling in the
nasty.
cup, or who knows, in the sugar.
That's wrong.
Backstroke.
So it was,
That's just wrong.
my brother was like, calm down, because I flipped. I was like,
Nasty.
this is nasty, I'm going back in there. I was like, putting my coat back on. I was getting ready to run in there, and like, I don't even know what I was going to do when I got there. I was flipping the hell out. I was so grossed out. And my brother had to like calm me down. He's like, dude, you can't just go flipping out in this place. But it was disgusting. Like, there was like a roach in the coffee.
Yeah.
And I was drinking that coffee like the whole time.
Right.
And it went in my mouth. I just can't even thinking back about it now, it's like, gives me like the freaking willies. Disgusting.
So gross. So thanks for that. And if here we go.
It's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can stay here.
Oh, but then there was this one time.
He was waiting for you.
He knew what was happening.
He's like, but wait. All right, that is the last call. Do you have something you want to share? Shout outs or whatever? Share them now or wait a week.
Nope.
All right. So, I want to share our event calendar. We didn't get to rock out our paladins this past weekend for personal reasons, so I have to reschedule that. But we do have our D&D with Dungeon Master Surrender.
I might be late for that. I'm not sure about
For the love of God, we're already down blue. We can't be without a Zorko and...
I'm going to the beach on Saturday, so I'm not sure what time I'm getting home.
Fine. Have a life. See how it is. We see how it is.
Sure, enjoy the beach.
Yeah, jeez.
The beach. Look at this guy.
I think he needs to get, like...
This guy.
This guy.
Look at this guy. To come up with sand in his ass crack.
Poor Zorko says he might be late, but Blue is just, he's going to be... What are you guys... You're going to be gone on a little mini family vacation.
Blue's like, he's going to the beach too.
Yeah, we're camping, actually.
Ooh. So,
that's my racket.
Well, hopefully I don't die. Hopefully Lena Silverlock does not die when you guys return, when you guys are back. Hopefully, because she hasn't had the best luck lately. So,
as long as you don't get into another slap fest, I think you'll be alright.
That was hilarious.
What was it? You guys just kept hitting each other, but rolling ones?
I kept rolling like one. Like, it was like two, but it was ridiculous.
Well, in that last fight, like, you guys were all, like, everybody got pretty messed up in that last one. When you guys were fighting those, like, elite guards, like, people were pretty close to, almost the whole party was, like, close to collapsing.
I believe it.
I think there's a few people down to one hit point.
But see, that means that it was balanced really well.
Everyone was down super low on that one.
But so this Saturday we are doing and that is May 26th, the D&D with Dungeon Master Foe. This is Cross-Realm Rebellion Gaming Group at crossrealmrebellion.com. And on June 2nd, we're doing free-to-play Crossout. So that's our next free-to-play game.
Oh, Crossout. I've been wanting to try that game.
Yeah, so, that will be June 2nd. So if you want to check out Crossout and you want to do it with a game, like a group of people that are fun and laid back, come and join us, and we'll be trying that. And then we'll have to try the game that you're talking about, Foe. What was that? Something apples? Rotten apples? Something apples?
Yeah, rotten Evil apples. Evil apples.
We'll put that on. So we'll put that on the calendar for June, and then we got to reschedule our Paladins excursion. So Paladins and Rotten Apples and Crossout for June. Go to crossrealmrebellion.com and click on the calendar. You don't have to be a member to take a look at the calendar, but you do have to be a member to join us. So it's really easy to join us.
And when you do become a member, don't be afraid to come join us in Discord and say hi.
Exactly. Exactly. We want to give a shout out to Revenant. Oh my God. I have some rated ARC stories for tomorrow. So if you play ARC, join us. I think I'll try to live stream for that, but I took a strange Diplo ride with a stranger. So that was fun.
Stranger danger.
Jump on rando dinosaurs with randos on official. Lots of fun over there. So that's good times. Just reminded me of that for some reason. I was thinking, wait a minute.
Yeah, that Revenant, you reminded it or something.
Your Revenant reminds me of a Diplo ride in ARC. So, yeah, hey. Oh, we should probably give a shout out to anyone, apparently. Apparently it's 1 a.m. and I no longer can speak English. Oh, wanted to give a warm CRR Gaming Group welcome to our new peep that have joined us in Discord. And Mr. Mac Daddy Curate, who came back for round 2 of sidecarring.
Sucker.
No, right? I don't know what I'm doing.
That's right on. I want to say welcome to Kodak Bear. Thank you for joining us in CRR Gaming Group. And Rolianos 203 for joining us this week in CRR Gaming Group Discord. Thanks, everybody. Any more shout-outs? You done? Nothing?
Oh, I'm done.
To go.
All right.
You're done.
Yeah.
We're all done.
Good night, everyone.
You can follow us on Twitter at CRR Gaming Pod. You can follow the gaming group at Cross-Realm or CRR Gaming Group. And you can listen to us at anchor.fm/Cross-Realm Podcast. Find us on iTunes, Google, and any place you can listen to podcasts for free, like Stitcher and Player FM and all those things. Pocket Cast. I can go on forever. There's so many different podcast stuff. So, yeah, listen to us there. All right, see you next week. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Later.
The dishes are done, man. You know who you are, who I am. Who are you?